Boy, man, I'm gonna stay on, man. Anybody want to get on with me? Holla at me. I'm gonna stay on, cause I ain't doing nothing tonight. I got, I got Easter tomorrow, so I'm gonna just chill tonight. Ain't gonna do the most tonight. Done broke up with my lady friend like about 3 times in the last week. Got back with her, broke up again. Oh, I'm a sovereign citizen, am I? Anybody got relationship problems? Anybody got relationship problems with the ones you love while you trying to find your freedom and they looking at you like you crazy? Y'all speak up, man. Come on now. I ain't the only one in here. Y'all got vocal cords. You love them to death, but they think you crazy. You love them to death, but they think you crazy. You better get a lawyer. You better get a lawyer. You don't know what you're doing. It's like your family's like the agents and they ain't even know it. Your family the agents and they ain't even know it. You contracting with this and you ain't even know it. Some comments in this live were filtered to protect the community experience. Okay, guys, let's just calm down with the comments, huh? I got my comments turned on because I'm not trying to get kicked out because y'all said something crazy. So if you made a comment and you didn't see it, that's why. I do filter the comments. I go through them occasionally. I'm like, well, that wasn't too bad. Let that person's voice be heard, But if you're like, well, you're a piece of and you're an idiot and all this stuff, I'm not going to approve that one because now you're being a belligerent, combative, argumentative. You're acting like an attorney, if you're asking me. Sunshine. Can you give us an update on your position? How's everything going? Maybe.
Trying to sort it out. There was somebody from the group, from your group, that I reached out to, and he called me, and we had a small discussion. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, and he was telling me that maybe I should approach it at a different angle.
Okay.
And he said something about, he mentioned my birth certificate, seeing if I could possibly get that trademarked. And he mentioned a QSIP number.
Mm-hmm.
I already got my QSIP number 2.5 years ago, so I don't know if it's still good or I need to redo my QSIP number.
No, what do you think?
He mentioned another form that needs to be filled out, and he mentioned a motion to dismiss the case, a motion to dismiss, and trying to remember what that form was. I think it was. I'm trying to remember. I wrote it down.
Well, what is
It
the
was
form supposed to do?
yeah. What else? I think he mentioned.
No,
Let's
what is the
see.
form supposed to do? That you have.
It goes to the IRS,
Mm-hmm.
and
All right.
I have some. He told me to save my tickets, because each of them were worth money. He said every case is worth money,
Yep.
and he said he mentioned that once you get your birth certificate trademarked. We were going to send it to the Secretary of State, and we're going to send it to the IRS, and we're going to send it to another place. And I thought, oh wow, he's just trying to point the direction, the path that I should take, and approach this whole thing at a different angle. Um,
Well, I mean,
sorry, I
like,
don't. Sorry, I
my
don't remember the form.
no, it's okay. The thing is, like, I can understand why he's telling you to send it to this person and send it to that person because you got to put all these people on notice that you are set up to do business. I am doing business under my name, and no one else can. That's what you got to do.
Yes, he did mention that this is all a business transaction. That's what he told me.
Mm-hmm. Yep. There you go.
And he's going to get back to me on Monday, and we're going to discuss more.
What was your charge again? I'm sorry, Sunshine. I'm so sorry.
How much is he charging?
No, 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 no. What was your charge? What were you charged with?
Oh, well, disorderly conduct
Yeah.
and not having a license, registration, and insurance.
Ask them what are the total sum of the charges. Put that in one of your motions. What are the total sums of the charges?
Uh, for not having your for
So
not
they'll
having
they'll
your
they'll 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 state fines to you, right? So the fines are just I think the fines are a cover up for what they're really doing.
I think so too.
Absolutely.
Because they changed the case number to different case numbers, and I don't know what they're doing.
So here's the thing: the fines may just be the initial charge, right? That they wrap up into securities, and they just wrap those securities up, and they float around on a stock exchange, and they start making money off of it. Okay.
Right
Yeah.
away, though. Right away. Is that correct?
I would think so because ain't no time like the present, right? Now,
Correct.
if you was doing this crime, wouldn't you get it as soon as you could?
Oh yes.
There you go. So, like, I mean, I'm not giving these people no leeway, and I'm not speaking out of hate. This is all love. This is for entertainment purposes only, right? I'm just saying that's what's happening, right? So, like, the person who's helping you is already telling you that, oh, this is nothing but business, right?
Yes.
And they're taking you through a process, right?
Yes.
Right. So, like, let's start in this process. Let's start with point one. How much are they making off of me? Are they trading my name? Can we address that first? Do they have authorization to use my name? Can we address that first? And it's not
Um,
your name, it's the name and state that was assigned to you by them. So it's not yours, but you are the beneficial owner, the beneficiary, the whatever. Like they come up with all these words and you got to remember all this stuff. Oh my God. But just know that name was created in your likeness, just like we are created in the Most High's likeness, right? They create things in your likeness and assign it to you, and only you can use your likeness. Period. And what are they doing using your likeness?
they're acting on my behalf. I'm the executrix.
Are you? Do you got your office set up?
No,
Do you have anything
I'm
recorded
working
with the
on it.
with the county that's in your principal county that you're doing business? You don't.
No, I don't have that set up yet.
Right. So
Right.
nobody does. And I'm like three hops, skips, and a step away from having all of that set up. And I'm telling you guys, like as soon as I start sending out letters, I'm gonna come back and report it. They're going to get rid of me because I'm giving it away, like because I don't care. I don't care. Now I'm only giving away my experience though. I can't give away anything that anyone else sold to me or anything. I'm just giving away my experience. That's it. So like for your case now, Sunshine,
I'm sorry.
for your case now, right?
Yes.
You're going through all this process.
Yes. Yes. It's a journey.
I would say this, and this is just what I would do. It's just not legal advice or anything, but if I was in your case and I know what's going on, I would approach from that standpoint, right? Like you have a rogue position on the monopoly board because you know the rules of monopoly, right? But you know that they know that you don't know the rules, right? So if you could come from like a espionage type position where, oh wait, like you pulling off the mask like Mission Impossible, like you pulling off the mask, and it's like, oh my God, she tricked us, because that's what they're doing to you.
Yes. It's all deception.
It's all deception, and they're making it seem like it's law, but there's no law being conducted in that courtroom. That courtroom is a bank, and they're conducting business. Let them ban me. If I'm telling anything else but the truth right now, let them ban me. Because I don't want to be on a platform where I can't speak the truth. Fuck, bump that. Excuse me.
Amen.
What's up, Angie?
Hey, is it working?
It's working. Hey, what's happening?
All right.
Right. So like, I'm talking to Sunshine right now because now she's still wrapped up in the whole thing where, oh well, I have the right for this. Are you still wrapped up in that, Sunshine?
Um, I know I have the right, but I just need to work on the steps to complete them.
Where do your rights come from?
The Most High God.
Right. Right. And do these people honor that? They
No,
don't. So there must be some contract that set the terms and conditions. And in those terms and conditions, they probably told you who your most high was, and you signed that contract. They said, look, your most high is us. And we don't want to hear nothing about anything higher than us, okay? And sign this contract so we can give you the service, and shut your mouth, slave. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
yeah, I'm going to ask them. Where's the contract? Who's contracting me in this courtroom? Who's trying to contract with me, and who's the injured party here? And I'm going to come and I'm going to ask them also after I address my special appearance in my special way. Um, that is there a bond associated with this case, and is my social security number associated with that bond?
Right. So like here's the thing. Like I'm gonna approach all of that from a business standpoint from here on. Like, where's my bond? And uh you guys owe me this bond, and I need your bonds and all that stuff, right? So here's the thing. Is it their bonds? It's not, because it has your name all over it. They're using your name. So the better question would be, and once you get it dismissed, if you can, or even if you don't get it dismissed, the better question would be, are there any bonds? Have you taken out any securities under my name without my express written consent?
That's awesome. Thank you.
You know what I mean? Are you trading my name on the stock exchange? Well, do you have any express written authority to do so? Like, what are you guys doing? How much money have you made off of my name? I like I
Exactly.
like all, I would like all the securities returned back to me.
Is this an
Amen.
identity theft case?
Identity theft is securities, is all kind of stuff going on, guys. The thing is, the hardest part about it is to prove it, because they won't let you get the records to prove it.
Exactly.
So like, here's the thing. I'm not trying to prove anything because the burden of proof isn't on me, right? I'm only there to ask questions. So let me ask the right questions. Let me not ask about my nature and cause and all that bullshit stuff. Okay? Let me ask you, Well, you said I'm charged. What is the total sum? What is the total sum of the charges? Can I get a true bill? Can I get a true bill, not a billing statement, but a true bill?
How did you come up with your bill of particulars?
It was a template. I was going through the processes back then. I was just a template, and I filled out the template, served the template,
Oh,
and it got me a hearing. It was a template. I mean, I didn't do nothing special. I'm with y'all on this one.
damn.
It was a template. I did alter the things in the template because, but the thing is, I read the templates, guys. I don't just fill it out. I read
Yeah,
them
gotcha.
because the templates will give you all kind of jewels.
Absolutely.
You don't even know it. But the thing is, you reading the template, you get them jewels, and all you want to do is go in there and start using them. Like, well, what's the nature and cause, and is it a nature injured party? And you start arguing when all you gotta do is just ask them the right questions, right? Uh, I see you guys are doing business as the state of Georgia. Can I see your certificate of fictitious name? You guys are doing business under the name of the state of Georgia or the state of wherever the fuck you at. Excuse my language. Can I see your
What is your
certificate
Dun
of
and
fictitious
Bradstreet
name?
address?
Right. Who you doing business under? What's your DBA? Let me see your DBA? Cause I got mine. I got mine. Let me see yours. And is your fee schedule this actual statutes that you're charging me with? I think so. That's what a fee schedule is. To me, as far as I'm concerned, all of their codes is just a fee schedule. Now, say if you have your own DBA and a fee schedule, now you can hand it right back to them. Well, if you want to do business with me, these are my prices. Let's see if we can cancel out each other's charges, because I'm gonna charge you for doing business with me. You think they doing law? They not doing law, and that's the best way I can say it right now. Doing law, they're not doing law. There's no law, people. It's only contract. That's why the policeman pulls you over and he is foaming at the mouth for your driver's license. Why? That's that contract that he needs that gives him the authority to do anything to you. He's foaming at the mouth for that driver's license. Sir, we'll get to that in a minute. I just need to see your driver's license. Well, in the state of whatever state you're in, in order to operate a motor vehicle, you've got to have a driver's license. Blah 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 blah. Well, in the state of this, in the state of this, in the state of that, you've got to have this, and blah 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 blah. Man, you don't get on my face with that. Show them your DBA. Show them your DBA. Show them your fee schedule, and say, if you want to do business with me, these are my terms and conditions, buddy. I'm gonna just be quiet, man, because I feel like I'm talking too much.
Nah, it's your live, bro.
I know,
Speak
but
your,
like my
speak
live ain't
your
about
mind.
just me talking ish, man. I like to hear the people speak, man,
We enjoy listening to you.
and vice versa, and vice versa. Mikasa sukasa. Go on in the fridge and get what you want out there. There's some berries, whatever you need. We eating. If you on my live, we eating. We eating. I'm not gonna just be eating in front of you like, damn, can I get some food? No, you can't get no food. Nah. Go on
That's
in the
why we
fridge.
love you so much.
You see what I'm saying? We gonna figure out how to do this and get the word out to as many people as possible, and even get the people who whose time is worth their money. Whose time is worth the money. You know what I mean? I ain't hating on none of these folk. Do your thing, Playboy, because I've learned off of them. I've spent my money and I've learned off of them, and it's been life changing. I'm at the top of the mountain. You see my picture? Hold on, let me expand it. I feel like I'm at the top of the mountain until they come get me
We
now.
see
Until they
you.
come get me.
Titty.
Until they come get me, I'm at the top of the mountain. Oh, we got somebody coming in. Maybe they got a story. And let's try not to think about it as the law, because there's no law. Remember, the Constitution has been suspended, okay? We are in a state of emergency, and the Constitution has been suspended. Only thing that has any jurisdiction now is contracts.
Business.
Business. What's up, brother? I, um,
Peace.
what's going on?
What's up, bro?
How you doing, bro?
Do you have an affliction, my friend?
Yeah, I went to serve the child support court in Ohio, and I asked the judge for three things:
Mm-hmm.
his bond, delegation of authority,
Mm-hmm.
oath of office.
Mm-hmm.
That slowed them down on all the processes that they was trying, because they had a warrant out from our arrest,
Oh my goodness.
and they tried to get the state of Pennsylvania involved.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to serve the county clerk here in Pennsylvania, and the county clerk mailed my papers back basically saying, we don't want no smoke. Like, you ain't even on our docket here or anything like that. We don't, you got to take that up with the courts that actually is involved with this, was the state of Ohio.
Okay.
So the judge in the state of Ohio, he sent me the delegation of authority. No, I'm sorry. He sent me the bond number, and he sent me his bond, and he sent me the oath of office, but he didn't send the delegation of authority. I wonder why.
I wonder why. This is a good question, brother. Because they're all bonded, they all got insurance policies, right? But
Yes, I
they,
got his insurance policy with me even today. So I'm wondering, is there a process that you do with when you get the bond?
is there a process to do when you get the bond?
After you get the judge's bond, is there a process that you have to go through to
Yeah.
put the ball back in their court? Because
What you gonna say, bro?
I understand that we're playing.
You just went mute, bro. You just went mute. You just went mute, bro. You just went mute.
Oh, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
You good? You good? Yeah, we got you.
Oh, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
You good? Yeah, we got you.
Oh, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh, sorry about that. Can you hear me?
Oh my goodness, she like too much. She like all kind of technical difficulties. Oh my goodness, she like too much. She like all kind of technical difficulties. Oh my goodness, she like too much. She like all kind of technical difficulties. Oh my goodness, she like too much. She like all kind of technical difficulties. Oh my goodness, she like too much. She like all kind of technical. Are y'all hearing this? Look, I'm gonna quit and come back, man. This is crazy. This is crazy. Y'all getting a bunch of feedback right now?
Can you hear me now?
Y'all getting a bunch of feedback right now?
Can you hear me now?
Y'all getting a bunch of feedback right now? I think it might be you, Mac. Y'all getting a bunch of feedback right now? Every time I unmute you, it's you, Mac. Y'all getting a bunch of feedback right now? I'm gonna disconnect you and
You
put
need
you
to go
back
in
on.
airplane mode. The
Yeah,
dude that was just talking, go into airplane mode and click out of it, and that should stop.
right. I think it's him because every time he comes on, like I hear
Yeah,
my voice repeating, and it's just like, yo,
yeah.
is that what I
I
sound like?
think
I
he
sound
got
like an
another
idiot.
phone call. When you get another phone call, that's what happens. It starts echoing.
Mm. So I wasn't the
Yeah.
only one that heard it,
Nah, it was bad
but
over
y'all
here.
heard what he was talking about. Y'all heard what he was talking about, right?
Yep.
I was gonna let him get through all of it, all the law stuff, right? Like, oh my God, it's law. I need him to come back on though, because I've already forgot what he said. Could y'all remember what he said?
He said that he got the bond and
Right.
the policy. But I heard Derek say a while back, when you get the bond, their bond, you're supposed to sign it as the principal, and you're supposed to record it back into the court case. I don't know that for sure, but that's what I heard Derek say a while ago.
My thing is this. I'm gonna say this, right? And y'all don't take this from what I'm saying because I'm just saying from like somebody who is taking it from the principle, right?
Hmm.
Like the principality of the nature of whatever we're talking about. We keep saying we got to do this, we got to do that, we got to do this, we got to fill this form out. These are their forms, bro. Why are we filling out their forms?
That's true.
Why are we filling out their
Because
forms?
we're just trying to play their friggin' game. They involve
Right.
us in
Right.
bullshit.
Exactly. And when you play their game, what does that do? Wraps you right back into their jurisdiction.
Yeah, that's true.
Now all these people telling you to fill out their forms, man, that's your job, bro. Like you come from the right position, tell them what to do. God damn it. Like I ain't filling out your forms. These your forms. I don't know nothing about your forms. Fill it out for me. Or give
They
me back
do
my
really
gold.
good fucking with us,
Fill it
though.
out for me or give me back my gold. How about that? Fill it out for me or give the people back their gold.
Amen.
I ain't filling out no forms. I ain't trying to figure out all these forms, man. I'm losing my brain trying to fill out these forms. God damn it.
Seriously. That's
Cause
how I feel
listen,
with this whole court shit.
yeah, I'm done. It's been
Documenting
too
all
many
the rest
years.
of the shit.
You want to tell me you want to fill the role of an employee and fill out their forms? That's their forms.
So
I ain't trying to
true.
figure out what for it like, but I might be wrong now. Don't listen to me because this is for entertainment purposes only, man. This is a radio show, man. High, high difficult radio. This is what we on right now. Difficult radio. Because
Featuring
why
Mr.
am I wrecking my
Hardway.
brain to figure out all these forms that they got? The 35 and all these forms. Man, why can't you just send them a letter and say, look, man, look, I done took care of the name and I'm managing my state. I'm of the age of majority. I've got all the paperwork to prove it, right? I've been probated. Do your job and just set up my estate so I can live free, please, as my trustee.
If only it was that easy.
Right, it too easy.
Right, but we
See,
gotta
you
make it to
think
the point
you
where it's
talk
that easy.
you
And
here
boo, what's
talking
up,
about?
man, boo?
Hey man, what's up, man? I
My
just got
brother.
I just got my partner on the other live. I was at on his live, right? They hit me for the age restriction because I brought up the executive office.
Oh my goodness.
That's how
Well, you always
powerful it
bring
is,
that up
though.
though. It might have been somebody else though, bro. Because you always bring that
No,
up
it
on
was
my
me
life.
because no, but they just put up, they wanted to get me out of there, so I dropped the jewels and I left.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's plenty more jewels to spill, my brother.
Hey, we was just talking
Yeah,
about
like I said, individuals gotta, once again, they gotta get their mind right. They got to, like I said, they gotta seek the kingdom. You have to seek the kingdom. In Matthew 6:33. Once you seek the kingdom, everything else will be added on to you.
Mm.
but they're not getting the principalities of that. You see what I'm saying? They're looking from a kingdom, and they're looking from outside of themselves when they are the kingdom. You have to think like a king in your dome to set up the kingdom. Thy will be done, thy kingdom come. You see?
Yes,
You have to
sir.
have your will in your kingdom.
Oh my God.
So,
See, that's the thing. Can I
that's
say
just what
this?
it is.
Let me cut in there, Pooh, because every time you come in, and it's one thing I've noticed between people that I let come in my lives, they keep coming up with the same script. They scripted, bro. But like when you come into my
I mean, what
live,
are you
though, Pooh,
expecting?
well, hold on. You come into my live, you come with something new every time, B. You speaking from like off the dome, B.
From the heart.
Yeah, these people come with scripts, bro. Anyway,
You want to know why? I'm the realest nigga in it. Y'all already know.
no, got trapped under UFO times in a row. Sorry, man. Sorry,
They
bro.
know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
They
I'm
know.
sorry. I'm
They
sorry.
know it. But no, but I got to, because like I said, it's three different aspects of the game. Your mind, your body, and your spirit. Your mind ain't right, your body can't flow. If your body can't flow, your spirit's not going anywhere.
Mm,
Because it's a threefold completion. It starts with the mind and the heart, and they're connected. That's why you say
Mm-hmm.
you can't have no malice or anything on your heart, because guess what? That's holding you back. It's blocking you from your abundance.
mm,
Because you're worried about the wrong shit. It's just like when I was in the joint, right? And my one of the guys in there, he been doing time for like shit. I think he did like 18,
Damn.
18 or 20. And so he got done. He finally finished his sentence. It was 2020. And you know, he's like, man, he's excited now. He's ready to go. This and that. The man was so gone with time that he took all. Now we didn't have tablets at the time in there, so all we had was CD players. He took
mm,
all of his CDs home.
Damn.
Yeah, but he didn't understand that those 20 years, so much has changed. Some
Mm-hmm.
example, I did
mm.
a year. I did a year and some change in the joint. I got out. When I came in there, everybody and their mama was using bar soap. Okay. When I got out, everybody was on the shower gel. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? It's just like I said, shit changed within months of things. You know what I mean? From beepers to phones. You know, from
Yes, sir.
beepers to to the Bluetooth, to the chirping, the Nextels, to these iPhones. Like everything has changed, everything is going, and it's like, you have to be relevant with time. With individuals, they just sitting back and, like I said, play video games, and everyone using their time differently for what they want and what they desire. Like I said, individuals, they be playing Call of Duty all day long, smoking weed all day long with all their guys, and then their woman is at work all day long. She comes home, she know what she's dealing with, and she goes right in the kitchen and cook him and all his guys dinner. You see what I'm saying? But once again, that's what that type of relationship that they have. Okay,
Right.
other individuals, like I said, they're both producing income into the household, and they're doing what they're supposed to do, and they're raising the children, and so on and so forth. Every particular situation is different. That's why, like I say, um, I come in and I come in on different subject matters, because I've studied so much in these 19 years. I've studied so much that I can speak on all different subject matters. I can come in at any different point, and we can talk about anything. Because once again, these individuals, they come in, yeah, scripted, they say the same thing on these lives, this and that. Like I said, you shut down Buddy today. You see what I'm saying?
Right. I didn't
And
want to bring
and
that up, man. I
we,
don't want to bring that up.
I got to, because we keeping it 100, right?
We got to. We got to
So,
do
but
that too.
I'm just saying, like, From when I met you to now, it's like your mind has shifted, your consciousness has shifted because you're seeing like what it is. And then, like I say, you're in a real life experience in with the court and seeing how they doing and what they're doing. You
Hold
see?
on. I need to put my
And
camera on. I need to put my
No, I
camera.
was just telling you that, bro. When I first met you, we was on similar paths, and like even though we you know what I'm saying, separated, we still got the same goal, and it was finding, you know what I'm saying, a
And Pooh, I want to
last
meet.
trump card.
And Pooh, I wanted to introduce you to B. B wasn't there. That's my man right there. Cause that's a,
okay.
from the get go. And I'm gonna put him on to the stuff, right? I ain't trying to cross no streams, but I'm gonna put him on to the stuff because that's my man, B.
Put them on
But
the what
check
stuff.
in with check in with Pooh.
I know I've been in the back listening.
Check in with Pooh, bro.
We've been doing the same thing, and it's just like I'm tired of wasting my time in court. So
Exactly.
any information I get, I'm gonna
And
go
then
get in my little dome, look it up and see what's to it. But
I think about everything
that's,
now. Everything now is the monopoly board, right? And like I was telling you, B earlier, before you can get to the monopoly board, you got to move that chess piece first, because every move you make has to be calculated. And if you ain't moving
yeah,
the right
you
speed,
gotta move 8 moves ahead.
yeah,
8 moves
that's what I told
ahead.
you.
what do you always say, Ampu?
Measure
Measure
I,
10
10
times and cut
times,
once.
cut once. My brother,
Yeah.
come on with it.
no,
That's
I knew it.
all. Because these
Just when,
individuals, they want
that's
to
why I
rush,
came to
rush, rush.
Texas.
And then, like I said, I know people that they do all this rushing and they leave a letter or a number off of the paperwork to where they got to go back and do it again. You looking incompetent as fuck. Because why? You didn't take the time. This is like you want to get, you don't want to fail this project. You
I
want to
can
be
speak on
passing
that.
this.
I can
Yeah.
speak on that, Ampu. I can speak on that
Mhm.
because when I got my DBA set up, when I copy and pasted everything, I put the wrong zip code down on my DBA. So now I got to go back and amend my DBAs.
Yeah, the 0000-9998. No zip
No,
codes,
but like
player.
no, I'm talking about the zip code before that. Like the actual zip code, it was just copy and pasted wrong, right? So if you get into that copy and paste stuff,
Okay.
like you know, you see what I'm saying? Now I got to
Yeah.
amend my DBA to correct it,
Yeah, that's why I told you.
Because you
I
was in
wasn't
a
sending
hurry.
off nothing.
huh?
I wasn't sending off nothing until I understood. That's why I came out to Texas, bro. I'm like, Indiana was trying to give me. I can't learn all this in there, so I got to do the best option. I
Mm-hmm.
created some
Where
distance.
where you at in Texas?
I'm in Houston.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's what's up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what you mean, Cap
Indiana was trying.
Malice? Yeah, what you mean, Cap
Indiana was trying.
Malice? Yeah, what you mean, Cap
Indiana was
Malice?
See, it's starting up again. B went out. It's starting up
What's
again.
starting up?
What I'm getting like an echoing. Yeah, Angie, I'm getting the echoing. They trying to silence me, B, because they know we cooking. We know we getting to the truth. Here's the thing. Check in with Impu. And like here's the thing. I ain't trying to ride on nobody like that, but the information that I got, I don't even post no more. I'm not doing no more videos where I'm doing the Brady rule or we're gonna go through this court case and this guy did this wrong because it's no law going on in these courtrooms. It's no law going on in these courtrooms. Please, if anybody can say that I'm telling lies right now, please. There's no law going on in these courtrooms. what is it? Since Ampu, since the Civil War, right? It never
What's that?
ended.
It never ended.
Never ended. We under the War
Nope.
Powers Act. We're trading with the
Yeah.
enemy. There's all kind
Yep.
of facts. There's all kind of facts that's behind why you are the full faith and credit of the U.S. dollar, and we are taking loans out on our own credit.
Yeah. What do you say, Allie? Whoever said Hunter's live earlier, he ended because TikTok said something so twice today for him. They are stopping lives for sure for the last 3 days I've seen.
They
Yeah,
stopped
because like I
Algerian
say,
today in the pool. They cut us shit short.
it's
But
okay because we the realest.
here's the thing, though. Like
That's
we
why.
pointed, Ampu pointed it out to me, and I ain't calling no names out because that's not how. But there was there was a event that happened during that live, and it opened my eyes until Ampu really put it to my attention. You know what I mean? And I ain't like, let me not get into that. I'm sorry. Let's move on.
Man, well, like I said,
Yeah, no, what happened?
I'm used
I
to it.
missed
They
it.
don't want to keep in TikTok cell block. Hey, but you know one thing, nigga, you can't ban the straw man.
Ain't been the straw man.
You
Hey,
can't ban the straw man. All right now.
all right now. My
What
dude,
happened
bro.
earlier?
I got kicked.
Well,
I
I'll
see
say this, Angela. I'll
all of
say
them.
this, Angela. Another prominent TikToker came on the live. Me and Pooh was on there. And Pooh gave me the mic. And I was just asking him questions and he just dropped off. He dropped off and then 2 minutes later my live got suspended. So like I don't know. I'm just giving you a recount of what
Oh
happened.
shit.
I'm just giving
And
you a
I've
recount of
noticed
what
the last
happened.
3 days, normal lives, I haven't seen them on. Like I
And I was
said,
on his
man, I
live the
can't
other
wait.
day,
Wow.
and all I did was ask questions, like just like a judge. I was just asking them questions. I mean, but I'm like Angie. I'm like, why wouldn't you just do this? I mean, but like you're doing all that, but why wouldn't you just do this? Those are the questions I was asking him. Like, okay, that's cool, but why wouldn't you just do this? Why wouldn't you move from the right position?
And
Here's the
then
thing.
20
Here's the
minutes,
thing.
and then 15
I don't
minutes
got
later.
no, but Ampu, like
And
I
then
don't got the replay. I don't got the replay because
you're not
TikTok
gonna have the
banned it.
replay when you get reported. You're not gonna get the replay when you get reported face. You're not gonna get the replay. You
See what I'm
can't get the
saying?
replay. You got reported. You
I'm
know
trying to
that's so you can't this individual so you can't get embarrassed. You can't embarrass individual if you want to put it back out there. I don't do all that, man. I just said like I said, my middle name is integrity. That's all I know is integrity. Like I said, what I look like hating on someone else's shit because like that's their shit. That's why, like I said, these individuals be in competition. Competition with what? Everything that I'm showing you, ain't no one showing you this out here. Nobody. What I showed you in class, Mr. Difficult, no one's showing you that.
only
You
one
were
other
so amazed
person.
with
Only one other person, right? And it's the only
what?
other person
Who?
I mess with on TikTok. So like
Who?
I'll let y'all put it together.
Who?
I'll let y'all put it like because
Who else? Uh,
I heard about the executive office before I took your class, bro. But it didn't
yeah, you
register.
heard about it, but you ain't heard it like I heard it.
That's what I'm telling
Like
you.
I
I
explained it.
heard
He can't.
about
They
it,
can't
but I
explain it,
didn't
and they
hear about
can't explain it. They can't explain how I explained it because they don't live this shit. I promise you.
I told her like until I took your class, it didn't sink in, bro. Until I took your class, it didn't sink in. You know what I mean? And I don't even like calling them classes no more, man, because like class, man. I mean, they putting you in the class. You know what I mean? Like it's knowledge, man. It's a sharing of knowledge. But this man is spending time to learn it. Get that man his dime for his time. That's all. And if that dude is genuine, and he ain't just trying to sell you a process to get through the mess, right? Get that man what he's worth his time. I will always adhere to that because these people don't put their time in because we don't know nothing. We don't know nothing. We wasn't taught nothing. And these people went through the mud, bro. They went through the mud and went through it. That's why, like, I ain't gonna sit on and Pool for what he's doing, bro. Because that dude, he's doing the work of the Most High, Most High.
And Pooh definitely knows his shit. I don't care what you talk about. He's gonna let you know the facts behind it.
It's the work of the Most High. Who are you serving? Because they are supposed to
Exactly.
be serving us. These government people are supposed to be serving us, and we are supposed to be serving the Most
These corporate characters. They're corporate characters.
High.
No government. Don't quit saying government. They're not no government. They're corporation.
Correct.
See, that's where we get duped at in the mind. Important. They're a corporation just like you. That's it. Imano is a corporation to corporation. Business to business.
Yeah, and I know who I am
You
now,
know, and
bro.
that's like I said, what you have to. The
Do you know
foreigner,
who
like I
you are?
said, Chakarkas,
Sorry.
you have to go get naturalized at the USCIS. You have to deal with the USCIS, the naturalization, the naturalization. What is that? The Naturalization Act of, I want to say 1870. So Naturalization Act of 1870 for you, like I said, because you came in here contracting to be a U.S. citizen. Now you got to change your status at the USCIS to be non-citizen national. So I hope that answers your question.
What does that stand for, Pooh?
United States Customs and Immigration Service
I-95 and I-944.
and the I-9 form.
That was right on there. They'll give
But
you
like I
all.
said,
That's the documentation you motherfuckers need to start switching your shit up.
The I-9
right.
form?
I-94 is for
Mm.
foreign born. I-95 is for born on the land.
What's up, Bearded?
Yo.
What's going on, bro?
Nah, chilling, man.
Was you
I've been
upset with me
following you.
yesterday?
Yo, and which one of you guys would say, yo, they should be paying him something. You know why? Because you motherfuckers, it's time and energy. That's what finance is right now. It's all time and energy. So you better tender this motherfucker something for his time and energy.
Correct.
And the
Exactly.
only thing you got to tender right now is the promissory note. So tender him up.
Because the knowledge is free. The knowledge is free.
It's
But
free,
their
but he's
time is not. Period.
for you all to operate these negotiable instruments, to fix your contracts, do your amendments, to get everything done. That's all time and energy, man. That's a full-time job.
Right.
So for Anpu or anybody else to step outside of their full-time job to do something for you, you better tender something.
There you go.
Yeah, I sure appreciate it. I thought you were mad with me yesterday.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No, you must have caught my comment wrong. I don't know. I probably said something. I might have been talking to somebody else.
Oh, okay.
You talking about that live we were on the other day with Real was in the comments too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about them. I was just checking these motherfuckers about to try to use securities to go to jail.
They going to federal. They going to Southside Macarena for sure.
He doesn't
They
go into
going
the
in.
basic foundations. He's gonna get people fucking thrown in jail. I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it.
And that's but that's what I was telling them. And they, those women were writing the note down to a T. Oh, what's next? Oh, what line? You don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like,
And then
slow down.
everybody had to stop him. Like you stopped him. I said something. A few others said something. He's like, "Oh yeah. I just kind of glazed over this fact. Yeah, that fact you glazed over will get people thrown in jail." fuck?
Once again, that's why, like I
That's the
say, I
scary
don't.
part.
It's not. This is the scary part, is that people aren't thinking. That's the scary.
Now,
That's the scariest part. The thinking and the comprehension is gone. And
you know,
it's just
Honey
like,
said it best, with people are so freaking desperate for freedom of their damn debts that they're almost willing to do almost anything.
Man, they're overthinking it. That's the problem.
Cause they scared.
Yeah.
Cause they scared.
You can flip those car
They don't know what
contracts
they up
right over,
to.
start doing fucking pay to the order. Who's holding that title? The bank.
Right, but they don't know. They don't know any of that. They scared. That's why they run and get a
Yep.
lawyer.
And then just stand on being honorable. That's all you got to do. You just got to stay in honor. Everything you do is honorable.
That's
You're
it.
trying to check their honor.
That's it.
Like
That's what the
that's
executive
what
does, right?
conditional acceptance is. You're conditionally accept something to make sure that it's been done properly. All right. So you go through the bases, you go through the steps, you make sure that they're approaching you approaching you under honorable conditions, and you do the same thing. If you find something dishonorable in the process, you bring it up, you notify.
Any defects? That's true.
Any defects, which everything is defective.
Anything they do. Yes, absolutely. But here's the thing, Bearded. You might find yourself in court all day long going
Oh,
through
yeah.
defects.
You might get dragged in there. All
Oh,
the
you-
knowledge is good, man.
If
they
you
drag
go
me
in
in
there,
there,
you're
I'm
gonna
going to
get
tell them one
dragged.
thing: you kidnapped me.
you're not. Here's the thing. You cannot no longer get dragged in there when you have your name decreed.
Well, I'm just saying, like, even if you do everything right, you
No.
might get
Right.
pummeled in there
Right.
by some idiot officer.
Right, because why you're in there in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. But if your shit's on tight, I mean, you'll be right out of there.
It's possible. It's possible. Because
Yeah,
anything's
but
possible.
but once again, when you're in the executive office and you have your ID or passport or driver's license with executive office on it, and you're coming from the United States minor outlying islands, you're in the world and not of the world. You're outside their jurisdiction. There's nothing they can say or do to you.
100% agree.
So,
I disagree at the same time.
I hear you.
Speak on it.
You know what I mean?
Speak on it. Let's
It's
get
just
the truth out there, guys. Let's get the
for our
truth.
truth to be accepted, we got to be hoping that their truth, their system is in regulation. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
that's true too.
for
That's
all of
true,
our
too.
stuff, we can do this. All of our stuff, all of our paperwork, everything. But we're still, everybody's got to remember, we're still running around with a bunch of fucking idiots all day, every day.
That's
That's true.
Yeah.
And that's the authoritative idiots. Like I just put a video up where there was a cop going over his thing, and he basically said, "Fuck the supervisors. Like we're just going to do whatever we want." And we have to deal with these idiots.
yeah.
Right, but then
Right,
once
but
again, this it's that contract what you're giving them. Once you give them, say once I did that at the DMV, and when I put the UMOI on the computer and the 9998, and she put that 9998 in there, and she hit enter, the computer flashed there to like do not detain, do not harass. She jumped back from the computer. I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "Oh, nothing." And 2 days later, I found out, Jay, outside the jurisdiction, they raided the house. They were doing an adverse possession where I was at. I had no knowledge of it, and they came and they ran my ID. Everyone got locked up except for me. Why? Because I'm not in their jurisdiction, and the ID proves it.
That's 100. See, this is where I get to. I like to dance on both sides because I've had my, I'm a vet, so fuck all my friends. Half of my friends are cops, and trust me, I'm not nice to them. you know, I'm not fucking educating them on a daily basis. But I had them pull my passport because I did the whole I-95 process, backed out. I got a few things going on, but basically with the I-9 process, you're pulling the non-existence of a citizen, and you're updating all your paperwork with that paperwork. But you come up as non-detainable on their system. I come up as non-detainable on their system.
Well, how did you
Just
get
from
that?
filling out that one form.
No, it was a few years. Was it 220? What was that? Vancouver, Minnesota 220 I-95 to update passport.
So like exactly. So you're conducting business,
Yeah, you're conducting business, but you're trying to update their records.
right? To let them know that you're doing business,
Exactly.
and they can't do business for you. Let's get back to business.
Have you seen the do not detain notification though? It's a little fucked up because they tell you in the do not detain. My buddy pulled it for me in his cruiser. It shows that they should call the FBI.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
But why though? Bearded,
because it's all wordplay. Because
Because
if you
it's
read it, I
outside their
read.
why though,
jurisdiction.
Bearded?
Yep.
It's outside. It's outside. It's outside. I'm gonna tell you why. It's outside their jurisdiction, and they have no jurisdiction, but they have to call their boss to make sure that you straight.
Right.
But I'll be worried, because that cop,
Because
he's just gonna
because
get told to
because
leave the
the
scene.
enemy.
Yep. But like he's gonna be jumpy until he gets that notification.
Right. But see, like when we get pulled over by these pirates, what's the first thing people start doing? Well, am I being detained or
Stand right there.
you start going into all the law stuff?
I tell everybody, you got to remember, what do they got? The two things, right? Reasonable articulate suspicion. What are the two? Raz and
Who cares, bro? Like
I don't care, but you got to know. I like to know because I like to know what they're doing to fuck with them.
Okay.
All right, so we know when we are getting pulled over, what are they doing? They're detaining you to conduct an investigation.
Correct.
That's why they have to articulate a suspicion.
Correct.
We can cut them right there. We just cut their investigation off. They
Right.
have no investigation to make because we're outside of their jurisdictional authority.
Right. But let's cut it
But
off.
they're not going to learn that until they have that first interaction with you.
Bearded, let's cut it off. Let's cut it off at the heart. Are you trying to conduct business with me, Mr.
Exactly.
Officer?
Cut it right off at the heart. Foundation.
Right. So let's not get into the rights and all that stuff. I don't care about my Miranda rights because that's not in play right now. I don't care about any of that. Are you conducting business? And he is.
Yep.
Let's stick to the heart, man. Let's not go into any of that law stuff, bro. I ain't trying to go.
I always say they're just the only investigation they're conducting is the one to see if they can do business with you.
Yeah, but the business, that contract, that's what determines the law. Once they establish that contract with you, that's where the law comes from, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying even if they pull you over, you start that foundational thing. You know they're going to come investigate, probe. So we cut the head off of the snake right there. No contract.
Here we go.
And summarize.
Here we go. I'm not asking you my rights. You don't need to read me my rights because I'm a grown ass man.
That's why I don't ask for supervisor. Why am I going to get you supervisor? You need your hand held by daddy?
There you go. See,
You're your own
there you
motherfucking
go.
man.
And what are all these videos on YouTube telling people to do?
Get your supervisor. Hell no, motherfucker.
Get
You
your
got full liability.
supervisor.
I'm coming after your liability, not your supervisor's.
See what I'm saying, people? If you just stick on the truth, you can't dodge the truth. Just stick on it. And let's figure out the best way to approach it from that angle. And let's just throw the Constitution away because they did. Right? We are under war right now. And there is no Constitution. Let's just get that facts. And every time they charge you with a bill by way of statute, they are looking for some type of money from you. And if you see, the thing is, they come with a claim, and then if you defend, claim defense. Is it a real defense? Is it a real defense or is it a personal defense? Know that commercial code, bro. Because it's all business. And let's stop talking about the law because there is no law. Let's stop talking about the law because there is no law.
Who said it earlier? You guys were going on the Civil War, right? Obviously ongoing, no articles of peace, a multitude of things. Civil War is ongoing. We settled that. The most important part is, since civil war is ongoing, we're obviously under what? Emergency powers, martial law, of course. Everything's run off the DOD.
Correct.
But even more important than that, what did the Supreme Court say about that situation? No court can exist in this situation. No courts exist.
Sorry, Bearded. I'm a mute. I'm gonna let you talk. I'm
Oh no,
sorry.
that's good. That was my rant. That's foundation right there, right? We're in an emergency situation. We're under martial law. So Supreme Court, what the fuck's going on? Well, no courts can exist under martial law, so no courts exist.
So if
It's
the
all
Supreme
banking.
Court said this shit, then what is all these courts doing fucking with us for then?
What do you think they got a
They
Q-SIP
doing
window for?
business, Angie. They doing business.
Why do you think they got a Q-SIP window?
Why do you think they got clerks? The clerks are tellers.
Yeah. What do we
They
say?
doing
I said that to you the other day. What was it? I can't tell if it's what's the other word? Teller or so, I can't remember what it said.
Right. No, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
They're close.
Man, you see, here's the thing.
Teller and clerk.
Here's the thing. As long as we are all working towards a common goal, I love every single last one of you. You understand? I love every single last. As long as we are working towards a common goal, and I'm not trying to steal nothing from nobody. I'm just trying to Robin Hood the people back into prosperity. You understand?
Amen.
Yeah, I'm blank on here right now. I've been going after.
Nobody. I love every single one of you, man, especially the people in this live right now.
We love you too.
I know everybody. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off again. I cut everybody off, like dancing around. But all you, this is all great stuff to like establish stuff. Really, home office, baby. Work all your fucking business out of yourself. But I think it's most important that. Hold on, I got a phone. Keep going. Take us over. I got a phone call.
All right. Now, I understand what he's saying, though, because here's the thing. At the end of the day, if you want to move from the right position, you got to move from the position of the executor. You got to go get your GPO office. You got to go do all this stuff, right? You got to do all this stuff that you ain't want to have to do. You just want to sit underneath the palm tree, drink your coconut water, and just chill.
All right.
But if you're gonna have your piece on that Monopoly board, you're gonna have to set up. You're gonna have to be set up before you start moving that piece. Period.
Like, this isn't just for you guys. I was getting into it, but one of the most important things is you could start changing the environment around you. You got shitty food in your fucking local area, start going after the food. You got shitty water, start going after the shitty water. All these fucking things are supposed to be upheld.
Right.
You start noticing from your proper status, you'll start actually making motherfucking change because you'll be able to hold them to liability.
Yes. Come on with it, dude.
Right? If you're a citizen, you're a nobody. All right? The fucking shelf stocker at Walmart doesn't tell corporate how to run their business, but the people that fund corporate tell them how to run their business. That's a big fucking change, a big status change. Coming as creditor instead of the fucking store stocker, yeah.
Because what's actually going on? Like, somebody actually came on my live and said that because you use your social security card to get your job, the job isn't paying you out their vault. They're paying you out of your social security.
Absolutely.
Has anyone else heard that?
Applied Vibes told me that a long time ago on one of his lives. That
Now,
they're
how many
paying
jobs?
us
But
out of our own
Angie,
trust
if that's
fund.
true,
Yes,
how
money,
many?
Mr. Dovecourt. They don't have any money whatsoever. They're using all of our securities, and they're using, like I said, that's why they ask you when you get a job, how much do you want us to pay you? And we're like, well, we're thinking like, oh, it's gonna come out of them. It's coming out of you. That's why they're asking you how much they want you want to get paid an hour.
See, don't tell me that though, because I'm gonna get
It
real.
I am gonna
is.
tell you. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you something far worse than
I'm gonna
that.
get real pissed off.
I'm gonna take. Listen. What I'm gonna tell you. When you're in prison and you have a job, and your job might be for a 50 cent an hour or $1 an hour, the prison is contracted to make minimum wage upon you. So they're keeping the rest of it and paying you 50 cents an hour. So they're paying you 14.50, and they're winning like that. And then listen, in prison, when you have a job for 50 cents or $1 an hour, you make over $600. So guess what? They're making you file a 1099 miscellaneous.
Oh my word! No, they're
So
not.
they're
Oh,
doing all
anybody else
this.
heart breaking? My heart is breaking right now.
I
Well,
know.
this is the thing. It's a new plantation. Like
Yeah.
I said, only U.S. citizens can go to prison. Okay, and if you're a U.S. citizen, you're a fucking enemy of the United States. And this is what they're doing.
Come on with that knowledge, brother. Come on with that knowledge,
I
man. My
mean, we
heart
went over
was.
this
You
back
just
in the
broke my
day.
heart right now,
Yeah,
Ampu.
no, that's depressing as hell.
We went over this back in the day. All you guys, we were all friends on here for a hot minute, but like the war bonds. Where'd the war bonds go, people? Where did the
Where
war
did the
bonds
war
go?
bonds go?
And what do you see? What do you see the incarceration rate do after they get rid of war bonds? Skyrocket. So what do you think they're getting money for war, or where do you think they're getting the money for wars from? Fucking prison bonds, GSA bonds, performance bonds, bid bonds.
Yes.
That's where they're
Oh,
paying for fucking wars. They're washing money through mortgage-backed securities.
yes. Yes.
Yeah.
God, man, I
High for
fucking
you
love
That's,
either.
you guys, man. I
They
love
say
y'all.
they
slavery
can
Man.
have
Bro, I
fun.
swear to
They
God,
can't.
I love y'all, man. I swear to God.
that's why, like in the scripture that says, God is not a respecter of person. But once again, they talking about, oh, follow Jesus, he's my savior, but you're not listening to what he's saying. You're not listening to his message. He says, follow him. He don't say, hey, I'm gonna come back and save you. No, your pastor tells you that bullshit. And you believe it because once again, you weren't thinking for yourself. You was relying on a man to tell you who's who and what's what because you weren't educated on that subject matter. And that's what I'm saying. You have to get educated on the subject matter to know what the individual's talking about and what they're doing to you. So we can talk about this is crazy all it is, but it's all in the books.
Yep.
All of this is in the books.
Yeah, they ain't hiding it from anybody. I mean, it's
Right.
right. They just know people don't read. Convenience is the
Man,
death.
they know people don't comprehend. That's what it is. They know because
That-
they do what? They put it in legalese. So the average individual not gonna know what they're talking about. That's like
Exactly.
when I put up the office of person. Individuals were reading that left and right, but then coming on these live and still spewing out statutes, codes, and regulations. Why? Because they didn't comprehend what the office of person was. You turn yourself into that U.S. person when you're using their shit. You turn yourself into a taxpayer, a resident, and all of that when you use that address. They put a dress on you and tell you who you are and who you're not. And you had to be doing the office. You had to be doing official business from your office to theirs. That's how they're gonna respect the game, cause you're not doing business. So shit, they don't gotta do business either, cause you're not. You're like you're doing business as a subject, so you're gonna be subjected to their code, statutes, and regulations. That's the bottom line.
Subjects.
So yeah, exactly, subjects. Just like if you ever you watch Cosby before, they'd be like, oh, we got three subjects running, two in pants and one in shorts.
Yeah.
Because all police are slave catchers. They have no jurisdiction. How do we know this? Because when we get arrested, they take us. They take us where? They take us to the sheriff's office, back on the land. Then they transport us to the foreign court, which is back at Lost at Sea. Because we are abandoned property. We go from the land, the air, and the sea. The land, the air, and the water. And then we said we need a motherfucker like Nick to come help us and present us so we can go give us some time.
If these people don't think there's a warehouse, man, you feel free to read through the Nationality Act. There's a warehouse person. Right? You motherfuckers are robbers.
For real
You don't
though,
get your shit right.
forgive me if I start crying in this motherfucker, man. Forgive me if I start
What is
crying on this
business?
motherfucker. I'm telling you right now, forgive me.
It's
Look,
business,
that's the
baby.
way I felt when I heard about us actually getting paid from our jobs, from our own trust. That shit
Yeah,
had me feeling some kind of way.
yeah, because it's all
Let's get back
business.
on that. Let's get back to business. Cause like I heard that on another one of my lives, and and it didn't sit well with me since I heard it, bro. Like every single
No,
job I
it
done
don't.
had, every single job that I done had that I had to give up my social.
Yep.
That was coming out of me. That wasn't coming out of
Yep.
them.
I
And
was
they was
want to know
reaping
that.
all
Exactly.
the benefits of my labor. I want that
Yep.
back. I want it back. I
I was
want
Yep.
it
want to know. Are they
back.
here to bring me something? Because last time I checked, the public debt's a lien, and it ain't on us. It's what they owe.
I want it back. Did you use my name?
Amen.
Did you use my name? Well, I want
I've
it
thought
back.
about writing my jobs, let me tell you, many a times. I just haven't figured out how I'm gonna word it, but yes,
My old
I
lady
do
gets win
too.
exempt. She was shitting biscuits. I might just put it in the motherfucking paperwork.
I'm telling you this right now.
Yeah.
Everybody that's on this live right now, we all might get banned. But let's keep it coming.
If the man's in here, just know, man, I'm paid tax
Let's
and not
keep it
motherfucking you.
coming.
Fuck you.
Yeah, like I said, that red number, that's the bank, and that's like I said when I went to the executive office, they took my thing from Richmond, Virginia to Chicago, my executive letter when I established my office. After I did my office and when I did my name decree, it switched me over to St. Louis. Okay.
Hmm. Different office, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
different.
where's your office? People, where's your office? They switching offices. Do you got an office?
Delaware.
I'm trying to tell you.
Those who know, know.
They got all kind of offices. You ain't even got nan one. They got all kind of offices. You ain't even got nan one set up.
I mean, it's
And
crazy,
you
but
think,
your business has a
and you think
business.
they gonna listen to you? All right, I'm gonna shut up. I
I'm
yield.
just, people, you got to understand your business is opening a business. You know what I mean? Like you already got a business. You just got to operate it.
Yeah, but
That's the hardest part to comprehend, though, is exactly how to run your life like a business. I've had so much freaking trouble trying to decipher how exactly you do that.
Start start focusing your time on what matters, and it's about the business. And stop getting off the nature and cause and all that stuff. Start getting on the business.
Yeah, if you
Learn.
guys just go to foundations, man, they're so outreached. I mean, they're so outreached. They're sending you mail. Are they sending you bills to the mail? That's illegal. Like not stamped bills, securities through regular mail. I don't think so. That's illegal.
Right, but you're not gonna be able to point all that out if you don't know
That,
it.
but that's foundation. That's foundation, right? So you just
Right.
it's just all these little things. They're so outstretched. They're everything they're doing is fucking highly illegal right now. You know what I mean? There's
I
nothing you
know.
can't find.
That's the truth.
Right. So like why would you go into the courtroom?
That's what I'm saying. Do you see the United States walking in the International Criminal Justice Court? Right. We see all that shit that distracting going on right now. What is it? The ICJ, International Court of Justice. Have you motherfuckers ever researched the International Court of Justice? When the U.S. or any other nation, the church or any other buddy or fucking figure gets into hot water with them, they just opt out of the treaties. They leave the contracts that says they have jurisdiction over them. We can do the same fucking thing.
Right to rescission.
like, like they do it on the world stage. All right, every man is created equal.
And every man has a power to contract.
If they can leave the contracts, if they can leave the treaties, gives the international court, the international community jurisdiction over them. Why can't we leave their jurisdiction here?
Why are we even fighting over jurisdiction when we know that they're just doing business? Like jurisdiction over what? My name?
Fair point, because it is all business.
Right. But here's the thing. Jurisdiction over what? My name? Do you have jurisdiction over my name?
They can only hold titles, not property.
Right.
Leave it at that. That's a gem right there. They can only hold titles, not property.
And at the same time, just ask them the right questions. Just stick to business. Don't worry about no law or anything like that because there's no law. What gives you the right to administer my name and state or the name and state in which I'm the beneficial owner?
That's the real foundation. Well, you're gonna get the live cut. You're gonna get the live cut with that.
Being a U.S. citizen.
Right. So can you provide proof that I'm a U.S. citizen? Like,
Yeah, just go call the Social Security Administration. They'll tell me right away you're a U.S. citizen.
right, but like
It's
they're
one
gonna
phone
put,
call. It's
but
one phone call. Press 8, and we'll find out everything we need to find out about you.
they're gonna produce a contract that is
This
something
is the
that
thing, though. You're saying you're a U.S. citizen by being in that courtroom, is what I'm saying.
absolutely.
Y'all want to keep going. Y'all love it.
Right.
Y'all love it.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
immune
y'all
now.
love going over there. I can't stop y'all from going. People they want to go perform, go perform. Well, what's the goal? What's the point of going if you're not going to get a check?
That's what I'm saying. I mean,
No,
Mm-hmm.
I'm all for it if you're going to go in there, handle your business, and get a check. But if you just over there, and like I said, even going in there to get a check, it's only costs in there. So you better have your DBA and you better have the fee schedule. You have your shit ready to go and know what the fuck you talking about.
yeah,
Otherwise, they're gonna hand you up, slam you to the side, keep you in there for 2 days, and be like, "Scram, kid, get out of here."
yeah. That fee schedule for you guys, that's and yeah, I mean that's a huge defense because you're not making a fee schedule. You can either make a fee schedule to make money, or you can make a fee schedule that just makes them leave you the fuck alone.
Well, if it don't make dollars, it don't make sense. Because, the Secretary of State got a fee schedule. Everyone got a fee schedule except us.
Willie, you don't got a bench warrant, man. That's you go to look at the signatures.
Like I gotta say this though, right? Like Ampu, I took your class and your fee schedule, bro. Like I'm telling these people. But what I'm gonna do with that, like in the class, one of the things he said was make it your own. Make it your own. Right? And I'm gonna make it my own. Because here's the thing, right? So you get pulled over by the cops. The cops is doing this to you, they're doing that to you. Right? The Georgia code or the Texas code or whatever the state you at. Those codes are number fee schedules. Think about it. Right? Any person who does this is subject to that. Any person who does this is subject to that. What is your fee schedule? It's the same thing. So I'm gonna turn my fee schedule into statutes. And it's gonna be the statutes of the Nigel Patrick Anglin estate. Okay? I'm gonna put it on the website. I'm gonna publish it. I'm gonna publish the whole thing. I don't care how much it costs. I'm gonna publish it.
For
And
what?
now I got my own statute, bro.
But this is the thing, though. You just have the fee schedule. You have the fee schedule. You go and you put that in the newspaper for 3 weeks to perfect the title. And then you take the affidavit of publication, you attach it to your fee schedule, and you say, checkmate, fuck you, pay me.
You know what I'm saying?
And then you go get a business card, and you go put your fee number on it from the fee schedule on the business card. And anytime anyone want to do business with you, there it is. They can go look up your fees for choosing me. Pole pimping, man, pole pimping.
Approved be on it.
That's it, man. I gotta be.
Right, because I was on a live with Trinity, and Trinity was like, I'm not sending these people no certified copies. I've already got it recorded. I'm going to send them my record or number or wherever they can find it, and just attach that in the email.
Yeah, but she be all combative.
Well, I mean, I understand it though, but like to me that makes sense though. Why am I sending you a certified copy? I'm going down there to spend money to get a certified copy when I can just reference you to somewhere where it's publicly recorded, where you can bring it up your motherfucking self and do your damn job.
Because in their laws and their rules that they go by, it's got to be certified for them to accept it. That's why. There's rules to this shit, Nigel. I promise you, man. There's rules to this shit, bro. It's like individuals not reading. They're just doing what they're just like I said. She's going based on feelings. In business, there's no feelings. It's business.
No, but she was
And
about
I
her
only,
business
I only
though.
know, I only know that because, like
Like
I said, I was
I'll
trying to do
vouch
that.
for her, bro. Like I'll vouch for her because she was about her business, man. She was just
You
speaking
could.
her life
I'm not saying.
experiences.
I'm not saying that what she's doing is any of that. I'm just stating that. Once again, you're doing all this, but you're down there, telling them, bitch, I'm alive and all that shit. That's combative shit. You don't need to go down. And like I said, these women, they love it. These women love to go down and show their ass now that they know some shit. They love it. They holler that private shit, but they love public shit. They want to be in there telling the judge, telling, oh, I know who I am now, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, they okay, what they say? Oh, they didn't say anything. They just ignored me. Of course they ignore you because they get charged $10,000 for talking about the shit that you're trying to talk about. Why? Because you haven't read the Trading with the Enemies Act and don't have the comprehension of the Trading with the Enemies Act. We're at war, you are enemy until proven otherwise.
Right.
How do you
Yeah.
prove otherwise? You got to get with the Social Security Administration.
Right. Yeah.
Everyone talks about the securities, but don't go to the Social Security Administration. Crazy.
Right. Yeah.
And then you got people saying that they're abusing the securities, and you won't go to the SEC registry and look up these companies and see they're registered and they hold fucking signatures to uphold the Registry Securities Act. Like all these places, they're all a business, man, but you got to go find who's holding all the liability.
Yeah. That's true. Because if you're not gonna do it, they will.
Oh, yeah.
And Blings was down there asking about dealership. I mean, they put this shit right in your faces, man. Like if you look at your car contracts, guarantee you go over it, it'll go down, and it'll be one of the notices they give you. Say the people allowed to change this contract are listed here. Guess who the signature there is? It's yours. Guess doesn't have any other motherfucking any other signature there. It's just your signature.
Yep.
You can go in and change your entire car contract, all right? Because you're the person who can change it.
Who else can do it? They're all actors.
They're not even on the contracts.
Hey, where is that at?
they're literally drawing the contract for you, and you're just checking the boxes. You're making all the signatures. You're the real authorized party.
And nobody else in that room is.
Yep. So if you're going to do your car stuff, anybody on here doing your car stuff, you always want to go through your contract, pull your securities liability out of there first, and it'll be right in the contract. And you're just going to notify the legal parties. And then you can go through and get your full title.
My thing is this though, like, so here's the thing, like, so if I'm gonna get a car, I'm gonna just go through the motions with them, make sure I got a copy of everything they did, and just make sure they just commit fraud because that's what they do, and just go right behind them and say like, hey guys, listen, I'm not trying to sue you, but you guys committed fraud. Tell you what.
How they commit fraud?
Huh?
How they commit fraud?
How did they commit fraud?
What is fraud?
They're acting like they're the lender when you are the creditor. Like I just stick to the foundation. Like I know where the credit is coming from. And I just stick with that. Like I don't know all the laws, I don't know all the history. I just stick with that. I know it's coming from me because there is no money and it's coming from me. But now you're taking my credit and extend it to me as a loan. And that's fraud.
No, it's not.
It's
You don't have power of attorney. You don't have power of attorney over your business. When they doing what they want to do with their business, it's abandoned business.
And we gave them power of attorney.
That's why I say. That's why power of attorney is so key. The power. Why do you think Power is the number one television show with 50 Cent? They're trying to show you what it is. Put it right in front of your face, hit in plain sight.
I mean, the cars, they're trying to do these digital contracts with the cars now, which are garbage. But I mean, you guys can just use the contract like another security, stamp endorsements.
So you telling me I could just walk into the into the dealership with my DBA and tell them, look, I'm set up.
Yeah,
Bro,
well,
no.
you could do a stamp endorsement of it.
Once again, you're doing private shit in public.
Right.
You go holler at the fucking
You take
manufacturer, bro.
you
When
take
you're
it
set
back.
up, you go holler at the manufacturer. You get
Mm,
the custom how you want to do it.
no, stop, bro. Stop.
What do you mean stop?
Stop.
I mean, like I said, man, you
No,
have to know
no, I'm
what
saying
you have to
stop.
know what
I'm
you.
saying stop. Like, keep going.
Yeah, I mean, it's the manufacturer. Like I said, you're dealing with another third party when you're dealing with these dealerships. So, cool. What do you think they're gonna do? They're gonna barter and exchange. And when you go down there and build an exchange and all that, oh, I talked to the head guy. For what? The CFO is the individual you want to talk to. The chief, the chief financial officer.
Come on. Come
That's all.
on.
And that's in the registered securities, where they all register.
But they want
Thank
to
you.
tell you the process, though, don't they? They
I mean,
want
but that car contract, I mean, it is a security. You can run it the same way. You can settle the books because where's the title originally when you pull those contracts? Title's still with the bank. All right, they've already drawn securities. They're just like they're creating a new contract off the old contract. They're shifting the liability to you.
but like that's the word people need to start learning how to use is the word securities. Because there's no money, there's only securities, right?
But once
Yeah,
again,
that's all
once
16 CFR.
these individuals want to talk securities. They have what's called the 348 committee. It's the Uniform Commercial Code 348 committee. Article 3, negotiable instruments. Article 4, bank deposit and collections. And Article 8, securities. And they connect. You see what I'm saying? 3 plus 4 is 7, and then the 7 plus the 8 is the 15. It all connects. And like I say, once you really, you see, in the beginning, I told you I didn't know what I was doing with the UCC, and I was up in there like Sesame Street, and I didn't know, and I said I never want to feel that feeling again. So everything that I do, I know now what I'm doing before I just go out there and execute. And like I said, you happen to make a mistake, equity will always, always allow you to correct your error. So, like I say, it's really no fraud out there at all. Once again,
I
if you
thought it
don't
was
want to say
abuse.
fraud, for real, it's Federal Reserve audit unit denominations. That's really what it is.
Say it again, bro. Wow.
Yeah,
Federal Reserve audit
unit denominations.
unit denominations.
Yeah.
Money of account.
And I mean, and that's because, see, I'm gonna tell you like this. My partner, he went to the chambers. He went to the chamber with the judge, right? He hollering, they back and forth in chambers. Oh yeah, man, the prosecutor, the prosecutor in the prosecutor can't talk in the chambers at all. He can just sit there. He's barred from chambers. He can just sit back there. He can't say nothing when you're in the capacity with the judge. It's completely the reverse of when you're in the public. So they're fraudulent securities fraud, blah blah blah. He's quoting blah securities, this securities that. So the judge is like, okay, that's cool. I hear what you're saying, but when we get back out there, to keep that same energy. So he goes out there in the public and he keeps that same energy, and ended up doing the Southside Macarena. So, like I said, and listen, they lost him, right? They lost him in the system. He was gone 6 months. He's at the prison processing center where he can't make no phone calls. So, like, let me reiterate this to individuals, and Honey know what I'm talking about. Don't do none of this shit to get you fucked up. Know what you're doing before you, because we seen plenty of individuals go right to prison doing, on a fast track. A fast track to the Pinto.
Depends though. Yeah.
The Pinto Santa Maria. Because you're going on someone's ship somewhere.
My thing is this though. How do we get the word out to the people? How do we free the people so the people could be free?
I mean, the people. It's once again, the one thing about what May and Honey both say. We say it's about the history, but we go further than that when we say it's all about. It starts in your mind. So you got to think free to be free. Your thoughts got to bring freedom. Not, oh, they're doing this, or oh, they're doing that, oh, the fraud. Because you're steadily telling yourself some shit that what is that going to do for you? Nothing. You're going to sit up there complaining. Sound like a debtor, making statements. Oh, they're doing this, oh, they're doing that. Instead of being a boss and be like taking over, like, hey, I'm doing this now. And they're doing this, and I'm doing this, and I'm telling them what to do. They're not telling me what to do anymore. You're giving the orders, you're not taking them.
And it's kind of like you got to
Everybody.
flip the roles on them, right? Because they looking at you like a minor, and you whining and complaining, and you're not coming from the right position to speak your case, right? Until you
Yeah,
flip,
you talking about the money.
until you
You're
flip it
asking, can
on
you do
them,
this and can you do that?
right? But then you flip
You're
it
still,
on them. But like Pooh, then you flip it on them. You come from the office of executor, and now you're not asking nothing. You telling them, right?
yeah, but like I said, the thing about it is that you had to have control of that name. See, look, what I thought when I left back in 15, everyone named mama was doing the name decree in the authentication. So when I came in here, I just assumed and presumed that everyone had their authentication and the name decree done.
Done for
Because
you.
that's all, like I said, in the movement before I left, that's all the individuals were doing. And that's all they were talking about.
Okay.
So it was just surprising, like I said, they having all these, and no one is talking about this office. Everyone's doing X, Y, Z in the office of person. No one's talking about executive. No one's talking about claiming their estate. No one's talking about any of that. It's more than forms, blanks. You have to be. It's got to be in your mind. Y'all think that some paperwork is gonna fucking save you? And no one save you but yourself. You think some paperwork? You think a silver bullet because you have a piece of paper is gonna do something? They don't even. You got to become your own paperwork. Come to
Hey,
me. Listen. Look, don't you want to throw my paperwork away? Don't threaten me with a good time. Cause it's like, where do I start now?
I mean, all
You
the
know, where you
pre-arbitration.
want me to start at?
nah, difficult. We was talking about this earlier. People got paperwork but don't know what it say. They just show up to court like, and reading off of it. It ain't for you to read off of. It's for
Yeah,
them to read and you to back it up. You got to know everything you
you ain't even
put
gotta go
into the
to.
record.
Right.
Once again,
Who's the burden of proof?
individuals give them 30 or 40 page, 30 and 40 page documents. They're not gonna read all that shit. Picture
Right.
yourself. Would you want to read some shit coming from a individual in court? Your court case 30 or 40 page. You gave them a 3 or 4 page indictment, and you giving them a 36 page response. Like for what?
Man,
Especially if you're a minor.
right. You just don't attention. Temper
No,
tantrum.
I mean, like hey, like I explained earlier, in the plea agreement it says U.S. citizen. If you don't agree to be a U.S. citizen, then you can't sign that contract. You can't take yourself to prison as a non-citizen national. You can by contract volunteering if your actions don't line up with the paperwork. That's what it says. Only paper until you make it work. You're like, oh, it's the paperwork. No, you got to make the paperwork. It's just paper. I know, guy. He got everyone's process and still went to jail for 30 days. Why? Because he don't believe in any of the shit he's doing. He thinks he's looking for a silver bullet. Oh, how do I get out of this situation? That's all individuals want. Oh, how do I get out of this situation? How do I do this? How do that? Not how do I be free? Okay, after this, the house, the car, like I said, they're not worried about being free. They don't care about any of that. And like I explained, sovereignty, autonomy.
Just like in the
Yeah.
last live and Pooh, when I was like telling how I called you and you was like, you just stall them. Just stall them until you get your affairs in order.
Yeah.
Stall them.
See, they got you. They say, oh, we got a deadline. Why do you think they call it a deadline? Because they're putting a line down and you did.
Come on with it.
You know, like I said, you do the name decree how you want to do it. Like I said, first, why are you doing it?
A deadline.
You know?
A
Yeah.
deadline.
Yeah, because that's why Walking Dead was the #1 television show.
Come
Because they're trying
on.
to show you what's going on. People ain't listening.
Come on.
I love the zombie show. I love watching zombies. Like for real.
Why's so important, man? You
I
want your
said just go
why?
outside. I said I don't need. Hey, I told him I don't need to watch The Walking Dead. I just walk outside, see it
Right.
firsthand knowledge.
Right. It's
That's what
metaphorical
they're
anyway.
doing.
You gotta have the
That,
why.
that,
You gotta have it. If your why should be coinciding with like an act or a treaty. Your why shouldn't coincide with someone on TikTok gave me a template.
oh man, why not?
Man, I read them templates, bro.
Sure.
I've learned so much of reading templates. It's crazy.
I mean, yeah, you can read them and learn things, but I mean, you got to know how to apply them. You know what I mean?
Right? You right about that. Because if you don't follow them correctly in their venue, they're not going to honor it. But it's their venue. Why are you meeting them on their turf? Let's meet on neutral grounds. Let's challenge the venue. If you're gonna go through that, why are we meeting on their grounds?
Hey, that's why I left the state and handled my situation. That's
And
some
they'll tell
best
you, they'll
option.
know
You
these
gotta
people,
move.
man. These template users, they'll know if you're trying to get your mortgage off a fucking quick template. They'll know try to get your car off a quick template. If I'm trying to get a car, I already know I'm already planning to arbitrate.
My thing is this, bro. I'm just gonna ask them questions. Okay, so where did the credits come to buy the?
That's exactly what
Listen,
pre-arbitration is.
this is what you're not realizing. Okay, what you're doing and what he's talking about, what you're talking about, is private shit that doesn't get discussed in public.
Through letters.
That's what I'm saying. I don't go in. I'm not doing public arbitration's a private
No,
process.
but when you say this, he's picturing you going in the dealership doing all this.
No.
No, that's what I'm just clarify this shit now. They're gonna go right in the oh, well, where do you get the credits from tomorrow morning? Is it
I'm not a
difficult?
great teacher. I'm more of a dude. That's why I try to keep most of my shit offline. There's so many intricate details, right, that could screw people. And I see all these people online giving, well, I just call them template users, but
They
they
call
give you
them.
something, but you don't have, like Ampu says, the history behind everything. Everything you're doing is so fucking important, man. I can't overstress that enough.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I can
Arbitration
go
is to
in there.
argue.
Well,
The arbitration is to argue about the shit that you signed and how you know now. So guess what? You're just tough luck, and you want your car, and you want the money with the car, and all this nonsense.
my thing is this. Like, because I bought my Prius, right? My Prius is paid off. I'm paid off, but I can still go back and get those securities. I can still go back and get what has my name on it, what's due to me. And it's not that I'm suing you. I'm not suing you, but I'm sorry, but all that has my name on it, right? That's where I'm
Okay.
coming. That's where I'm coming from. I'm not coming from, well, oh well, you and combative. I'm like, well, guys, hey, I'm sorry, but this has my name on it. I'm
Right,
sorry.
but this is the thing. This is the thing. You don't have anything done federally or internationally to even go after those. That's what I'm saying. There's levels to this shit, and they're trading those cars and doing all that business internationally. So it starts with the name decree, and then it goes up to the federal trademark. And it's just different levels of this shit that you gotta, that you gotta prepare yourself for. That's why I say that the shit ain't finna happen overnight. You have to sit there and plan to process, not process to plan. See, everybody wants the microwave shit tomorrow. They want all that shit. Oh, I found out about my account now. Pay me. Don't work like that. You found out about it. Like, okay, cool. What else did you find out? You have to find out how to go and do what you want to do.
Ain't it the truth though?
You say what?
I said, ain't it the truth?
I mean, this is the thing. Why are you,
Hey,
like I said,
Sonny.
you have the vehicle, right? It's paid off, the automobile, right?
Yes, sir.
And you want to go back and do what?
Anything that has my name on it, man. I mean,
Claim all unearned interest.
right. Anything that was made off my name, like it's due to me.
That's what I'm saying. Cause
So, how y'all enforcing that?
I'm trying to figure that part out now, man. Like I'm not gonna speak on what I haven't done. I'm trying to figure that
Right,
part out right now.
right. And that's what I'm saying. Like I said, we got to be careful because these individuals go right off and go do the shit you're talking about. If they don't know that they think you went to the dealership and did all this, so they're gonna go to the dealership and start, asking them these questions. And I'm explaining to them. So, and you got to do this in private. If not, it's back to that allegory I tell you about at the party. You're in the public party. You walk down the hall to the bathroom. Walk in the first door. It's a sex dungeon. It's a private party. They're dressed different. They're doing private shit. You leave. You go to the bathroom. They invite you back. They say, hey, you want to come back. You come on back. You leave. You go. You come back. And you either go to the dungeon or you go to the party. It's up to you. It's based on your decision. You have the unlimited right to contract. So what is it you really want to do? That's the whole thing. Is like individuals they talk on it. What's your direction? What is you want to do? That's what you got to find out from within yourself. What level do you want to get to? Because like I said, we can want to go get all that stuff for the vehicles, but the automobiles, but it's there's federal shit involved, there's international shit involved because they're trading us internationally. So that's the whole gist of everything.
Right. So like, here's the thing though. Right. So like, say for instance, like like just play devil's advocate. Right now, we playing devil's advocate. We just playing hypothetical, of course. Right. Say, for instance, I mean, I was just watching YouTube videos all day, and I know that these dealerships are about some BS. But I had I had an appointment to go get a car anyway, so I'm going up there, and now I know a little bit something. And now I just want to ask them some questions while I'm filling out the applications and
You're talking about
everything.
the revocable power of attorney that they slide in front of you, tell you to sign and take from you?
Right? You see what I'm saying? Like, if you knew that, now you asking questions. So why would
Well,
I?
once again, you're excited about getting your new automobile
Mm-hmm.
because once again, you want to go shit on motherfuckers. Be like, look at me and my brand new Benz.
nah.
But no, that's what you want to do. Don't tell me nah. I know I'm a nigga. I know for
Nah,
sure.
bro. I'm trying to take my
That's not
family
what I
there.
want
So,
to do, Ampu.
I'm
well,
trying to
I'm
take my
just saying, y'all
family there.
talking dealership shit. So
Yeah.
I was born at
Ampu.
11/24 at night, but not last night. Shit.
Right.
Ampu.
No, I don't even post on
So
social media.
but
My
No, so
brother,
like
yeah,
my
like
but,
brother's a
he's talking. He's
but
talking. Let's just talk from a general perspective, people, because that's what the TV is pumping down our throats. We know what people trying to do. We know what he's
You
talking
right.
about. That's
Yeah,
not
you right.
us because we woke. We on this channel. We woke, but we know what he's talking about.
my brother's a car seller or car salesman. That's why I want to do it. because he wouldn't listen and he wouldn't follow, and that's my only full sibling, and he's stubborn as all hell like me, and works like 80 hours a week and shit. So what I want to do is I want to go take it to him, and whether or not it gets him in trouble, you know what I mean? Because if it gets him in trouble, so what? He gets kicked out of the fucking dealership. Oh well, maybe he'll listen and follow, you know. But for me, it's because I want to save him. It's not that I want to go get a fucking brand new Benz and stun on motherfuckers, you know. So that's my intent.
What's up, Sonny?
How we doing? Difficult?
It's good to see you, brother.
Yeah, good to see you too.
And I'll speak on that. Can I speak on what you just said? It's like, here's the thing, right?
Absolutely. 1 second.
I have worked 20 years of my life for these people. If I want to get a car and stun on them, I'm gonna get a car and stun on them. But I ain't gonna do the most. But if I want to get a car and stun on them, I'm gonna get a car. I worked the last 20 years of my life, people. I
Well,
have
you
my
work for
full
yourself.
family credit.
This is the
I've got
cold
my
part
full
about it.
family.
You work for yourself, right?
I'm just saying. I'm just coming from a
They
different point.
went. They gave you. You went over to what? You went over to where? Where did you go after you got your job?
What's that?
What department did you go to after you got your job?
The the person.
What department did you go to?
I don't understand. Like you saying, like did I go to the department in person?
No, no, no. When you got the job, when you went to go fill out the paperwork, what department is that?
Oh, the human resources. Yes, sir.
Right, because you're the fucking human resource. And
Right.
they know that you're the human resource. And guess how they're going to make money? By taxing your check,
Yes,
okay,
sir.
to make them money or to make them credit. Okay, so now that you know that, that's just that. If you go read publication 15, it'll tell you that you are self-employed.
Does publication 15 say you're self-employed even if you fill out the paperwork normally?
Employer. You have to read it. There's 15A, 15B, 15T for your particular status, standing, and position of what it is you're trying to do or want to do. All of the answers are on these publications. Everyone's so fast to want to fill out these forms with the IRS. It's all in the publications. How they're getting down.
Forms for substance.
Once again, like I said, you're just waiving all your rights with these W-2s and the W-2s and all that when you get the job. So basically,
Mm,
anyone that fulfills that W-2 is an employee off the rip.
mm.
So you've taken that employer identification number, your employer ID number, your social security number with no dashes, and guess what? You made yourself an employee through their corporation, through their employer identification number. So guess what? Their company has to pay taxes. So their company is using you to help the profit, the gains and the losses. They're using your corporation to do so via their payroll system. But everything is in the IRS and on these publications. It's just having to read the publications and the forms, the instructions. No one's reading instructions.
Right, because there's a system in place that they've put in place, right? And if you go down the aisle the way they want you to go down the
No, you
aisle,
too.
then they'll let you do what you need to do, right? And so, but if you try to go through the aisle any old way you want to, and try and run the show in the courtroom or try to run the show and cut the line, even though we might be right in our stance and our arguments, but you're saying we need to understand what Big Brother's modus operandi consists of, and and understand it in order to crack the code. So I've literally started this whole journey, and I just realized, you know, that we are in a brave new world, and it's shockingly brave and very interesting. And now all of a sudden we're having to reclaim ourselves, because of shenanigans that happened, if I'm not mistaken, sometime between what have you in the 1800s or whatever, and so and in the early 1900s, but and this is kind of me like kind of bringing it all together in my mind, because there are a number of different stories I'm hearing from everybody else, but they all seem to be the same way: maintaining fiscal integrity and being a functional sovereign in uh, in the right places. And so this is the truth. And I have no intent of trying to get no money out of whatever trust, but I totally get it. I get the idea. I
You
think,
can't get any money out of a trust. You get
well,
credit.
I mean, right, maybe, credit lines and things like that at banks and what have you.
Well, you're entitled to the full faith and credit of the entire United States. They're the ones who are, obligated to the debt, to any debt of yours. Every single dollar has a lien on every single dollar. You're getting
Right.
paid negatives. So the thing is, from our standpoint, yes, we've been raised in this conditioning to slave and bleed for these little rectangles, but it's all been wrong. So it's not a bad intention. It's not a bad intention or an evil thing or posturing to say fuck this. There's a way around it. You guys have fucked it up, and let's not go against it, because no, that's fear, and fear is the opposite of love, and that's darkness. And I'm not
Mm.
for it. I'm not for it.
Right.
I just, I think this is general, because I haven't gotten there yet to the foreclosing and mortgage. I mean, to covering mortgages and calling out, going in there and doing the right writing to get a car. I mean, I haven't gotten that far. However, I do, from what I see and from I've been shown and paperwork I've been shown from people that have done it, who get like all their shit back from OID packets on taxes. And I would say, you know, do your work, build up your shit, and then get it all back in OID packets and taxes at the end of the year. Use IRS as your friend once you're in the position to do so, instead of going up against the dum dums on the front lines who are basically cashiers.
The Esquires, you mean, like them and stuff like that?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's something. That's something. See, like, I think what was Mr. Difficult was just saying. Somebody was saying, or Anpu was just saying something like language and uh,
it's mirror language. Yes.
the way things are said
Yep.
are just so
They're
astoundingly.
strategic and they're black magic.
It's black magic and strategic. There you go. I mean,
Yep.
it's like living in the upside down, except for you don't know you're there,
We
and
are in
they
the
do.
upside down. Don't our eyes flip everything we see? Isn't that how they
What?
figured out how to work cameras? Don't we only interpret the colors that are reflected? So if you see a black shirt,
Mhm.
it's everything but black, and that's why colored is pale,
Well, I mean, I guess. I mean,
right?
it's
So we're living in an upside. We're living in a flip, and that's why we're living in hell. Heel, and we're trying to make it to head Vin.
hmm
I mean, it's just okay. I love taking really complicated shit that we could talk for days and days and putting it in a sentence. If we all assume that anything that the government is telling us is a lie, won't we be more right than wrong?
well, yeah, because you're aiding and abetting a hoax, and who
Exactly,
wants to be a part of
exactly.
that?
And by partaking in this system, are we directly purporting and propping up like human trafficking, the worship of Baal, like
You're
you
paying
know,
their taxes. It's hard. It's hard every day to
taxes are
go into work.
usury and human trafficking are the worship of Baal, and that came with Roe v. Wade, the
Yeah.
institution of it in the U.S. So anything and everything that goes against my soul, it doesn't matter how hard it's going to be. I mean, it does matter, but I'm saying like it's not going to stop me. It's just going to make me be more strategic about it myself. And the more that we come together, once one ant stands up to us, they all might stand up to us. They'll outnumber us 100 to 1. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, they're a corporation, and corporations don't have citizens,
well,
and
are we?
and
Are we corporations?
but well, yeah, but I mean, we're human. We're living man, and
Light
so
men?
well, they yeah, white men, black men, orange guy, dude with the rubber ball in his mouth and the weird stuff that he does. Yeah, he's in there too, I guess. But in America, as in any communist country, Big Brother's modus operandi it consists of bringing down the full might of the government upon any one of its unlucky citizens. But the problem is, I think the conundrum is they don't have citizens, they're a corporation, the United States of America. And just understanding the difference between the two has been an earth-shattering situation, kind of like when I found out we weren't hurling through space. And so there's a lot of things going on that I'm unlearning and relearning, and then going, is this necessary? Is this even necessary? To regain traction and control of my corporate entity. And it's like, well, yeah, it is, buddy, because it's slavery. Why? And like you just said, this worship of Baal and this extra monies that they are, whatever, enslaving us to prop up demonic activity around the world. And so it's like, no one's for that. We're like for our families, and we're for picket fences, and we're for community. And most people commonly, like as we refer to common law, right, commonly know, hey, don't, there's the beatitudes, there's the maxims of treat others the way you want to be treated, and you don't pay what you need to do to act right, basically, right? Just act right. And we don't need law, but they've somehow managed to put this large trust. I like, so it's just astounding how much I'm learning, and like how there's a
Yo,
trust out there that's set up, and it's U.S.
hey, real.
corporation, and you're in all caps name, and all this difference and stuff and maxims, and and here's the thing: I wanted to be a lawyer, and now I found out these esquires, quote unquote, lawyers, right, have an allegiance to the court first, and I was like, well, I could never stand
Not
for
just the
that.
court, bro. To the British Accredited Registry. Not even
Right,
America.
to another country, and so
Yeah,
altogether it's
they're
like,
based on invisible lines. They're traitors. But like,
and
oh my
so the
god,
only true route to go is to be a is
to
to be
rebel against what should be rebelled against. Shouldn't have
yeah
been there
is
in the
to
first
be
place. Wow, how are we the most? How are we the most educated or furthest along species here? But we look around and the birds go where they please and eat where they please, shit where they please.
and you
Why
have
are
to pay to
we
live here
coming into breathing and have to pay to live in a box, in a box, in a box, in a box for a box?
because at some point they covered the country in zip codes,
Yeah, well,
and
yes, on
they
improvement plans. Yeah, the
purchase those zip codes, right? They quote unquote put those zip codes in like this thing, and we own this zip code spatial area here, when it's like literally the upside down they're talking
right.
about,
We
and
won
it's
the
so
Revolutionary War
spiritual.
in gore, but we lost it in money, and so we're owned.
It's so clever though. It's so legal. It's so legal and clever and illegal at the same time. It's astounding because, what you don't know won't hurt you. And so
Yeah,
I
but
think
now that
that's
we
the
know, we're fucking hurting, aren't we?
well. Now that we know, we're
Oh,
angry.
because y'all take it personal.
No, I'm not
All this
taking
shit
it
is business.
personally. I'm not
No,
taking it
no, no,
personally,
no, no,
Apu.
no, no, no. You are, because you're saying this and that. All
No,
this boy. It's business.
and poo,
We got
and
to
poo,
realize.
and poo. Just no, respectfully, brother, respectfully. You know what? You know I follow you. Like follow you as a leader, okay? But I can't. It's not taking it personally. Well, first of all, person. It's not taking it personally to say that we are being wronged and that we want to fix the wrong. If we don't take it personally, we're gonna leave it be. Isn't that being neutral? And isn't being neutral on the side of the evil because we're sitting down, not standing up, and letting it go past?
No, no, I'm not saying that you're not doing anything about it, but I'm just saying the way that you're handling it is personal. There's no emotions in business.
I'm
It's
only
just what
I'm
it
only
is.
talking about it, and there doesn't
Right.
in my action
I'm
there doesn't
not,
have
but
to
I'm
be
not, I'm not,
emotions,
I'm
but
not talking just
emotions are going to fuel me to action. You know what I mean?
Sonny, like that's what he's saying. If you're taking it personal, you're being way too emotional about it.
right.
No, I know, but it's the reverse that I'm saying isn't true. Like I'm not okay. Okay, hold on. How do I word this? I'm not being emotionally fueled as to make mistakes or be emotionally controlled and be personal. I'm taking it personally enough to get the emotions to move. Emotions, move. Like
Mm-hmm.
Right,
I'm
but
not being emotional. Like I just sound emotional because I'm passionate about every fucking thing that comes out of my mouth if
Right.
it
So
comes
like
out of my
here's the
mouth.
thing. Here's the thing. If you knew the business part about it, you probably wouldn't be so emotional and take it as personal. You see what I'm saying?
Oh,
Doug,
it's like I said,
I'm
it's totally legal. What they've done is totally legal, and it's under
so
the
dudes
power.
wrote papers for themselves, and now it's legal because they
Yeah,
wrote papers for
yeah.
themselves. Like that's I get that it's legal. That's not. I don't have a qualm. I don't have a qualm. It's just something that it's like a
Oh, I have
fire
a
that needs to be
qualm.
put out, right?
I have a qualm for sure.
It's
It's
it's just
why
a fire that needs to be put
it's
out. Grabbing water
immoral.
and going to put out the fire doesn't mean I'm emotional. It
I'm
means I'm moving.
emotional. I'm
The
emotional, and
thing is, they've
it's
been
an
Once,
telling
assault.
us all
It's
once,
years in
assault.
books.
once again, it starts with your mind first and foremost. That's where all this stuff starts. And then once you get your mind right, you're gonna look in these books that they've been having this whole time on his story. Like I explained key things. The 1807, the Insurrection Act of 1807, the 1871 District of Columbia Organic Act. These are things that you're gonna have to, that you're gonna have to know, and it's gonna take you to the next level. The history is gonna take you to the next level. I speak on the history. Honey speak on the history, and it's just like I said. In order to know, you know it. If you don't know it, shit, you're not gonna go too far.
Right.
And like I said, you're gonna go to prison because you don't know what you're doing. You heard someone say
Yeah,
on
I'm
live,
I'm
"Oh, do
definitely
X,
not going
Y."
to move before knowing, Ampu.
No, no, I'm not. I'm not you. I'm not saying you. I'm saying I'm on these calls and these lives. And the individual came on the live one time and said, "Man, I heard to do this in court and on a live, and then went to court and did it.
Don't go to
Came
court.
back and said, man, they fucked
Don't,
me up, and I shouldn't have listened to that.
because
But
as soon
once
as you cross
again,
the bar, as soon as you go across that bar and you're in you're
it,
underwater now, and
it
you're in
don't.
their sanctuary. You
No,
don't. There's no sense in
no,
fooling
no, no,
with it until you take it up
no.
to the appellant and above.
The minute you go into that, the minute you go in there, and they rape you, and they go in your pockets. You go through the metal detector. You get wanded down. They pat you down if they don't like the way you look, and then you go in there and you're trying to tell them, what they're doing wrong. Like coming to their house and you come to my house and tell me, oh, my food ain't shit, my house ain't shit, all this and that, and you that I'm not finna come to your ass. That's what it's like. You going in there trying to embarrass. It's a public nuisance in the court when you could have just wrote them the letter and say, hey, whatever it is that you're expressing, because all this is about expression. You would know that there hasn't been a judge since 1791. There hasn't been a judge. They're all magistrates. And that's what it is. They're performing magic. They
Yeah,
wear a
like
black robe because they're administering your funeral.
right,
So, like I said,
administrating. Yeah, yeah. It's profound. It's profound, and the the material and the practical implications and application of this is basically I guess in my study, and it's not even like I know anything, so I'm just a glint in the atmosphere, okay? But from what I'm understanding, it appears you have to stay out of court, deal with things outside of court, which you can do, send, and then just a matter of sending a form or what have you over to the Secretary of State. The proper doing things in the proper channels, going through the proper processes.
mm,
Remember when they got angry with Donald Trump? He wasn't, he didn't go through the proper chain of command or whatever. He didn't do the Illuminati and get naked at the Bohemian Grove or something. But there's a
I mean, if the
process and a
entire media
chain of
comes against one
command.
person, he's probably doing something right.
Right. Well, maybe he got naked somewhere else. But the point is, there's a process and a proper. And when you start cutting lines, you've seen these people before. If you ever just walk up to them at a bank, if you ever just walk up there, they freak out.
Hmm.
Sir, I will nod you over when we are ready to go, and you're the only one in the bank. Like they have a process, and walking through their process, as tedious as it can be, if it's gone through the right at the right timing too, at the right timing. So you wouldn't go and you know uh, claim your name last. You wouldn't claim your entity last. You would do that. Try
you're
to
not
get
claiming your entity.
or well, is this if that's the wrong verbiage? My apologies, man.
No, no, I just like I said, because the individual's like, oh, you're claiming the estate, but what you're doing with your entity is you're doing control and possession under the Uniform Commercial Code Article 9. And when you're under the Uniform Commercial Code Article 9, you're acting as the agent for the secured party, which is the highest position in the UCC. So, when individuals tell you about sovereign citizen or secured party creditor, they are synonymous for oxymoron because you can't be a secured party creditor. You
Sovereign
can
and
only
you
be a
can't be a
creditor or a
citizen.
Can't
secured.
be a tall shorty.
Yeah, a sovereign citizen of what?
And
Uh,
citizen means municipal servant. Sovereign means free. I mean, I'm sure you know what he's saying. Real. Never mind. Sorry.
Right. So, like,
well,
what I liked about what
only
Real
because
was
I did
talking
some
about,
research.
Real,
Like he's saying, research is power, knowledge is power, and then organizing that power appropriately and
right?
divesting gradually, like a pouring out your cup.
Hmm.
So they're
Yeah, exactly. And what I see a lot of people getting wrong is that they're acting as though knowledge is theirs when it's not. When is as if it's not just God. And we should be sharing and being a collective rather than finding niches and things to separate each other.
your guys' opinion on Jordan Maxwell.
What about them?
Well,
Right.
I mean, is he worth the books and stuff? Is he worth listening to? Is
You
he
talking
is
about
he
the Canadian
credible?
dude?
Is
No,
he
you talking about
credible?
Jordan Maxwell.
Everybody has, especially when they're published like that, everybody has things to glean from. I
Right.
I would be wary of putting all your eggs in one basket. Say following David Goggins only. You know what I mean? What if you're a sensitive type? You know what
Are
I
you
mean?
talk,
Or
Right.
but are you
Well,
talking
Robert
about
E.
the
Peterson,
Canadian
and
dude?
you don't have kids, and you're not very wise in your life. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
oh,
Are
I'm
you
a
talking
baby
about the
McCarthy.
Canadian dude?
No.
No, I'm talking about Mr. Maxwell. He's the gentleman who I guess he's kind of been a real historian, if you will. Let's just go there. But he talks about a lot of stuff. But one particular item is that all caps name and the entity stuff. And he's like, he wrote a book. He's a third edition book
Well,
that
real,
yeah, and it's called Cracking the Code.
yeah.
Okay.
Um,
Why?
Oh,
Hey, guys, an all caps name can't be a name, can it? Because capitals can only be what? Acronyms and initials.
you're talking about Jordan Maxwell. Oh,
Excuse
okay.
me. I wanted to ask something. Like just because my situation, I don't know, like if fixing my status would be the same thing. I wanted to ask Pooh real quick. Sorry to interrupt you guys. Um, like basically I have no type of credit with or nothing with the government. Like I'm not born here, and then I've been here since I was 2. But the thing is, because of my situation right now with my kids, and then they had told me about how correcting my status and switching to the private might help me. So I just wanted to know if it's the same thing for like me, because I have the appointment already to go get my passport, and I was gonna set up the PO box before I went to go get the passport so I could put the PO box. I'm not sure if really
that sounds a lot more complicated than what we're hearing.
because
Uh,
yeah,
No.
I'm not a U.S.
It's
citizen.
it's
So
not really. And Pooh, take it away from there.
I mean,
please,
it's just like I said. Did you have a social security number?
no. It's basically like I'm basically a ghost.
mm.
Um,
The only thing I'm on is like the birth certificate for my kids, like as the father.
right, but
Besides that, go
so you
ahead.
don't have no birth certificate?
No, not U.S. Birth certificate. No,
What about, okay, where's the birth certificate from?
Mexico.
So so you haven't done no naturalization?
No, I was smuggled here illegally by my parents.
Okay. Um,
Oh,
like I say,
that's brave.
I don't. I mean, I'm over it.
because
I just
because everyone that I know that come from other countries, they get the naturalization certificate.
first.
So, well, with the naturalization certificate, um, that's under the Naturalization Act of 1870, and so that's how individuals were doing their apostilles. Because I don't believe that you can get full faith and credit with those, and
I would
Mexico is
have.
under the Hague, so it would definitely be an apostille for the Secretary of State. But it's kind of in dangerous waters because you don't have any the contract with the two agencies, whether it be USCIS and Social Security Administration.
would getting adopted
Cause you
by
say you
a
don't.
would getting adopted by somebody that's a U.S. citizen, like let's say my great grandfather, because I just came into contact with him like a year and a half ago. If he were to adopt me, then like then I could start that process on. That's where that's what would grant me what you're talking about right now.
But that would make you naturalize a
Or,
naturalized
or
citizen.
Entertainment,
yeah, yeah.
entertainment purposes only.
Yeah,
Entertainment purposes only.
that part.
That would naturalize you.
Okay, yeah, but that's not
And
gonna solve.
yes, I imagine so. It would be the same. Then you'd follow the same processes. You'd have a
Yeah,
social security number or certificate
Oh,
of birth.
yeah, but that wouldn't. Yeah, that's.
My thing is this:
well,
trace the money back. Where's the money
I'm
coming from?
saying I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking more like on the lines of marriage, but like I said, I haven't dealt with that
Oh, the
particular
getting married.
situation where you have no. I'm saying no with no social and no birth certificate. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what you think, honey. I don't like I said. If what I don't know, I don't know. I'm gonna tell you I don't know. So
Right.
you know, honey,
That's the
honey
thing.
on here, she probably know.
Yeah,
I don't know
Miss
that.
Honey, on your page, I seen you had a live, I think, or you were on Mr. Difficult's live, and you had one with like the thing scratched out, but it said, like it was from Mexico, I think it said, and like some of the things that personal information was scratched out. I don't know if it was something like that, or do you have any insight that I might benefit from?
She said that you're out of the age of adoption.
Mm. I thought you could adopt anybody,
So
even if they're.
I'm thinking, I don't know, I'm thinking marriage maybe, but
Yeah, that's the only.
like I said, that's the thing. Remember,
How
you
old are
just get
you?
married, it's just business.
What?
Are you over the age of 18?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's why I
man.
was saying, E,
Say
like it's gonna be hard
go
because
find you. Hey,
you don't got a birth
go
force.
find you, go find you. Hey, go find you one and go put that ring on it.
We'll get you a baby
Go
mama.
get married to the state.
Nah, I don't want that.
Shit, you know, it's like ain't what you want. This is business.
Everybody that's married that didn't fix up their marriage certificate or marriage license, they're married to the state. Notice how the state's at the top, and both you and the female are on the same line. Both of you are the feminine. That's why you're wards of the state, and your children are wards of the state.
Isn't that wild?
Yep.
Sure as hell is. But you can
Now,
fix it. You can rewrite it, and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't recognize this." You know
are
what I
you
mean?
signing your name? Are you signing your name differently now? Like your all caps by, and then your no your your real name, whatever, and then agent. Are you doing that with your stuff or signing?
I'm actually staying pretty clear about pretty clear of all contracts really right now because I'm in the thick of it with I just went through Pooh's class and I'm going through another one right now and trying to keep up with both and got a pretty heavy load on my plate personally as well. So just trying to stay away from all that for now.
Just
That's a
being
good. That's a
cautious.
good answer, bro. It's like I'm not entering into any new contracts right now.
Right. I'm not trying to make the fucking pit bigger.
Exactly. Like, cause I know now anything you sign is a contract. Period.
Well, and I
Everything when you
kind of
step outside of your front door is a contract.
well, and I just kind of started going down this trail with contracts and stuff because I wholesale property and stuff, like quote unquote, all right, whatever. But learning about sub two contracts, seller financing, special financing, and loan different kinds of contracts that we do, and how they carry so much weight and what their meanings are and different addendums and why we have why they're set up the way and spoken and written the way they're written and things in all caps and stuff like that. And now I'm learning even more by looking at this and going, oh, like uh you know the all caps name and stuff like this is really opening my eyes to uh you know the collection of rules and regulations and code that these people have put us under, that I didn't sign up for. Now I'm a naturalized citizen of the United States. So I came over here on the Mayflower in 1995, and
Nice.
and, um, and so here I am, and I have a social security number and things like that. So I know I'm being publicly traded, uh, which is fun, but it is making me particularly dizzy. But I think it's amazing. There's the I'm following. I just got Jordan Maxwell's book here, and I've been going through it, and I'm towards the beginning, like on page 40 something now. So I'm like not even anywhere near in it yet. It's like 500 some odd pages, and I guess I'm still verifying that he's a good source to continue on with him, and
I would say, just pick and choose the things that resonate with you, especially your gut. You know what I mean? Don't just swallow everything because someone's a published author.
right. Well, he's all over TikTok too, and so he's all over the place.
There's
He's
also a lot
all
of foolish motherfuckers all over TikTok too.
Well, he's an older guy, and he's not like somebody who like is on TikTok. Like I think he died in
No, I know, I
2008
know, I
or
know who Jordan
something.
Maxwell is.
I don't know. I mean, he's obviously kind of nihilistic or what have you, but or doesn't or I'm not sure. He has a very interesting opinion to spiritual stuff, but as far as functional sovereignty is concerned, he wrote a whole book on it, and the idea is that he's in his book he's going to kind of steadfastly can help construct, if you will, the reader how to operate in this new sovereign capacity and understanding common sense principles about commercial law and the fundamentals of what this legal situation, this legalese is, and understanding the different maxims and things like that. He's really starting. It's 500 some odd pages now. I don't know if he's uh, whatever, but from what I could tell, I guess a lot of folks are saying that he's a good authority in the space. Um, I guess my fear is that I guess things change. When you become a functioning sovereign, if you will, in society, you possess different rights and authorities that are deadly enforceable in some cases, and so this constitutes you know having to maintain that integrity and having to do things entirely differently now. So you're signing documents differently now, from what I understand. It appears that you're uh, settling things outside of court now. You're not your motor vehicle is, I don't know, something different changes with that. I think we end up becoming enemies of this of the world when we
No,
Rebel,
you already are. You're
rebel.
standing as
a
is
sovereign,
enemy.
You're a rebel, right?
a rebel. And so let's just be honest, folks. It's not going to be, you know, I think operating and functioning in this new sovereign capacity and just kind of floating through space and signing things differently, and getting, and the banks are totally cooperative. Everything's cooperative. I think it's a fight now for the rest of your life, because every country in the world that at least has president in a president is running under a corporate entity,
Well,
and has a bunch of.
I'd be careful about thinking about it that way. Not a fight. Because if you're fighting, you're propping up an enemy. You're propping up an opposition of existing. You know what I mean? We
Well,
should.
this is that George Orwell society,
Yeah,
Matrix society that
1984.
we
Yeah,
never.
I mean, I get that, but I mean, it's kind of like Mpu says. It's your intention and your heart and where you're coming from. You know what I mean? Because you can go into a court and just completely disregard the hostility of a judge and of a prosecutor, and stay in love mode and still stand on your square. You know what I mean? You don't have to. It doesn't have to be a fight, but change is the only constant. So reading is knowledge, knowledge is power. You should be a career student. That's what it's going to have to be. It's going to have to be constant learning, because
Well,
they're going to be constantly trying to change the shit.
it's a wholesome, uninterrupted style of living now, except
Absolutely.
for there's going to be pushback from the corporation, this huge corporation with iron teeth, and
Well, they're dead and you're alive.
Well,
and
that's
they're
the
dead.
thing, right? Here's the
Yeah,
thing,
there
right?
you go.
We keep calling them corporations, but we keep coming in there with the law. We keep calling them corporations, but we keep coming in there with the law. Let's come in there with some corporate shit on the instead, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's not come in there with the law when we know they're corporations. Excuse me, Mr. Honor.
Mr. Honor. Yeah, what is this? They got the wig, they got the whole thing going on. They're legit. They're standing there as magistrates, and they're exclusively, running their own version of what they call a courtroom.
Let's
And
get back to business.
Court is
yeah,
show, bench means bank.
Let's get to
yeah,
business. Let's get to the business aspect. Let's not fight the law, people. I don't
yeah,
know why. I don't know
Full
why people
settlement of
keep going right
accounts.
back to the law, like the law
Get me out
exists
of
in these
here.
courts. People keep going back to the law, like the law exists in these courts, and the law does not exist in these
Why
courts.
are they called statutes and codes if they're laws?
Like,
exactly. Because words matter, and because that's what they are by definition, a statute and a code, and they can't get around that. If they could get away with calling it a law, Bud, they would in a heartbeat. But they have to write it down as a code, as a statute. They don't have any other way to correspond that, And so corporate spellings and the assembling of
still
letters
getting into the
matter.
semantics of it all, bro. Like, let's get right back to business. Let's get out of the semantics. Get out your mind of all of that and get back to business, because that's all it is. And that's what I'm going to promote on my lives. I'm sorry. If anyone strays from business, let's get to the business aspect. How do we attack it from a business standpoint?
Well, with more, well, I mean, if we're talking about how do we get more folks to do something like this, it's more information going out about it, and more success stories and more excitement around the the reality they should be in, quite frankly, and where they should have been placed. And if they were in another generation time before, they would have been placed in. And so now that they have to we have to understand we've been duped by this large these organizations, and you know
That are
and
doing business.
they're doing business, and just
Yeah.
accept it as for what it is, because it's legal, and what they're doing is not totally, I guess, out of
I'm
the
going to
ordinary.
interject real quick. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
guys. I
What's
really
up,
have
honey?
to interject real quick because you guys are going around in a circle. And I just want to offer you guys to get off of the hamster wheel, some clear knowledge for you guys, right? So here's the first thing. You're not being duped. If you read the acts, the treaties, and addresses, it will tell you exactly how to get out of the system that our ancestors went into for a prayer of relief. Okay? Prayer of relief. Learn what that is. First thing you should be writing in the comments, first thing you should be writing on your paper. What was the prayer of relief? Where did America go from republics to state? The word state means property. Okay? So the states are the property of the federal government, right? This is where we understand that. Why did they get there? How did they get there? What is the history that brought it to that specific point? Okay. So the problem that exists, this is where all the emotions get kicked out of the box and logic begins to come in. The problem that exists in the situation is that we don't understand what real wealth transfer is. It's called knowledge. Knowledge is real wealth transfer. The buck stopped when our ancestors did not inform the next generation of how they became or how they went into from being a republic into the state. What was the prayer relief that was given? Why did they give up their silver and their gold for what? For the estate okay, to have relief, right? So everyone wants to talk about debts being paid and, it's our credits. No, it's the Social Security Administration's credits, right? You became the authorized agent. So the first thing that every individual has to stop doing is just regurgitating information and start taking a moment in time to learn the history. And then there will be a lot less banter, right? That just goes around in a circle over and over. Now, trust me, everything I'm telling you is coming from a place of love. It's not coming from an emotional state. So I don't want you to be in an emotional state when you hear what I'm saying to you. I want you to hear me from a logical perspective, right? All of your problems are existing because you are what is considered a slave to the trade. You are an enemy of the state. You see? Now, how do we know this to be true? Because if we go to Trading with the Enemy Act, right? I prefer for you guys to read 1939 because it's after the birth certificate circulation came into place now. Read that. Tell me, what does it say the enemy definition is? Okay, when you begin to read that, it also tells you how not to be an enemy of the state. It is going to tell you to become an individual subject to. What does that mean? If you pull up a law dictionary, that means a natural person. Now, if you go back in the law dictionary and you say, what's a natural person? That means the living man or woman. So everybody, it's 1939. Everybody is making it a big thing, right? You guys are going around in a circle, and it's not that complicated to the point where you begin to confuse yourselves because of the lack of knowing the history, okay? When you have that situation of understanding the history of these things, right? Then you're going to know exactly what is transpiring, why you're in the position that you are in, what they are saying that you are, so that you can begin to know who you really are by knowing who you are not. You don't have any kind of rights. They toy with you guys. This is what you guys are not even understanding. That, for instance, right, people go, I don't want to give my ID. You have to have a reasonable, articulable suspicion of crime. Guess what the actual act says? It says that if you, the enemy of the state, doesn't have a reasonable cause for the superior or inspector, that they can fine you and jail you for 6 months. Why? Because you are a slave to the trade. You're a slave to the trade, right? But you know what else that Trading with the Enemy Act also tells you? That when you become the living man or woman, that all things that you have done as a slave, all things that you have done in your minorship, all things that you have done in incompetence will be forgiven. So when people are going back and forth, right, or a 500-pound fine, exactly, where people are going back and forth dealing with state courts, you're dealing with a commercial slave trade court. If you go to the next part after you're in section 2 for the definition of enemy, it is going to tell you exactly what's being traded. People. If people are being traded, still in civil war. As a citizen, you are a citizen of war. As a United States citizen, you are an enemy of the state. You have no rights. You have none of those things. So when we walk around and we talk about going back to get beneficial ownership of securities, what jurisdiction do you have in the international stock exchange? What jurisdiction do you have on an international market? What have you done to be able to do that? You're chasing imaginary money and suing your own estate. You guys got to start thinking better and make sense of it.
Oh, we haven't even gone down that route yet.
Oh, we going down it right now because you guys are going in a constant circle, right? What's happening is no one is realizing that everything is a trust agreement. Someone said many times, we're in contracts. No, everything is not a contract. There are only 2 types of trust, and everything is a foundation of trust. You have revocable, which is agreement, and you have irrevocable, which is a contract. Everything is not a contract. You cannot be in a contract with a financial institution because there are elements that constitute a contract. One of the
What I
primary
meant by that, honey,
elements,
just to
I'm
clear it up,
sorry,
just to clear up what I meant by that is I don't necessarily mean like binding or anything like that. I mean like when you go, like when you flirt with a girl, or when you sit down at a table and order food. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. I don't mean contracts as in like legal.
but see, here's the thing. When you allow your mind to believe that you're in a contract, that's how they get over you. You have to understand every single word that you're saying and make sure that it's accurate, not an assumption situation. You see? That's where the imperative importance comes into the fact of the matter is that if we're not using the word trust agreement, this is why you're thinking that they're able to take you to court. You get mad at a situation of people that you volunteered every single thing. No one told you had to check that you were a U.S. citizen when you got a bank account or when you got a driver's license or when you did anything else. You did that. When you went and got the car at a house, you signed that you authorized them to be the power of attorney and act on your behalf. So what are you claiming fraud? This is what people do. I want to claim fraud because they signed additional documents. You gave them permission, voluntary act to do so. It wasn't involuntary. You just didn't read. You signed your life away and didn't know it. You made a death pledge and didn't know it.
Well, honey.
All loans are mortgages.
Well, honey, let me interject, right? Because it's not just voluntarily, it's intentionally, it's knowingly. Like there are more than just intentions when it comes to the contract, though. Full disclosure, right?
But see, you see the word you just used, contract again. Do you know that a trust agreement doesn't have to have full disclosure? A contract does. You cannot be in a contract with a financial institution. This is why it is important to know the difference between the two.
Where did you end up learning all of this from then?
One, I have a law background. Two, I've been doing this for over 20 years. Three, I am a free living woman because I read every act, every treaty, every address, every study on all American wars, because that's what it's going to bring you to. And they're going to give you exactly what to do, how to get out of the system accurately. They're going to tell you everything. You see?
Right on.
So when you sit there and you understand that as the grantor, seller, or the sellator, or the trustor, or the executor, or the executrix, by initiation of application, and it's irrevocable, you have the right to make changes to the physical actual agreement because it's irrevocable. But if you are going to continue to call it a contract, it becomes irrevocable and you're going to go in court for it. The first thing is that then when you say, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to rescind. How? You got 72 hours. How do you plan on doing that? Because now you have to prove misrepresentation. Okay? You can't just say, I got to stand in with no act of injury. What's your injury? Right? You got to be able to prove that. So going back and forth, going back and forth on the situation, let's do less of the talking and regurgitating and more of the knowing thyself than learning the foundation in which they stand on and learning their structure. This is the most imperative thing you can do along your journey. You guys gotta remove the need to go back and forth about things that are not relevant, right? Because it's not as complicated as most people are making it. It's not, right? It's time wasted versus time management. And you guys got to start managing your time more wisely. And that's going to be done. Forget about the books, because I'm going to tell you the secret about a book. If it's still on a shelf, it is because it's inaccurate. I'm going to say that again. If the book is still on the shelf and it's pertaining to the way out, it is because it is inaccurate. It is a plant. Okay?
Crack
Because
Oh,
guess
the
what?
redemption
They
manual.
will pull it. They will pull it the moment that it is given the steps of accuracy, because they do not want the masses to wake up. Because for them, it's not about the artificial money. It's about the actual power and control. They lose the power and control as the people are fully awakened. Okay? What you need to read is what they know that you won't. Put in the comments: acts, treaties, addresses. Every cheat code you need, every step that you need to get out of the system and to become the living man or woman are in acts, treaties, and addresses.
Which acts, treaties, and addresses?
All of them. But the first one you start with is trading with the enemy, because that is when it's going to, I'm telling you right now, anybody I send to read that, they come back in a panic, because half of the things that y'all talking about that y'all are doing can only put you under the jail cell. That's it. That's all it's going to do. It's put you under the jail cell. Just having something in your house from China can turn around and get you put in jail.
Something
Just
made in
having
China.
bond paper that you're creating negotiable instruments on can have you put in jail.
So it's a setup, a really
No, it's
bad
not
one.
so much that it's a setup. It's what's created. I wouldn't call it a setup. What I would say is they did exactly what they needed to do to keep everyone that they wanted to in control. So if you waste your time talking about things that are irrelevant and you still don't know who you are because you don't know who they're trying to tell you are to know that who you're not, then whose problem is that at the end of the day?
Yeah, fair enough. So starting with the trading with the enemy of 1939. Go through that with a fine-tooth comb, come back hyperventilating, and then probably I imagine that will naturally take me down the how to get out of trading with the enemy, and that will just lead
It
things.
will, because each act
Yeah.
will reference another act for you to read.
There you go. See, I've noticed that when with different bills and things like that, so many references that you have to go and find. Okay, so it's really a roadmap, pretty simple roadmap.
It is a very simple roadmap. They tell you all the extra. When you hear people talk about, I'm an American state national, incorrect. That's not a recognized political status. Anything with the word state in it means property. So
I'm
you
an
putting yourself
American
back as
property
property,
national.
right? There's
Just
only
not
4
understanding
politically
words.
recognized statuses. 4 of them. One side of the fence make you the living man or woman, and the other side keeps you as an enemy of the state. Simple. First side that makes you a living man or woman is either going to be tribal, Native American, or it's going to be a non-U.S. citizen national. The other side of that fence is going to be immigrant and U.S. citizen. And their acts tell you exactly how to jump over the fence.
Literally.
Okay? All the other stuff that people are talking is unnecessary. It's unnecessary. If you want to rescind a car, prove misrepresentation. First level of misrepresentation is your actual agreement with them. State the word contract in it. Let them know that you believe that it's a trust agreement and not a contract. And that's misleading and deceptive practices, which are what? The Sherman Act, antitrust laws. Because everything is what? A trust. Everything starts off as a trust agreement. It is not a contract until it constitutes as one. There must be a meeting of the minds. There must be an offer. There must be acceptance. And most importantly, there must be lawful consideration. Asking them to show you where the credits came from ain't going to do shit. What you want to see is the full accounting, both accounts receivable and accounts payable, the full ledger, based on general accepted accounting practices. You see, these things become very simple. We don't have to make it that complicated, guys.
It's a
This is why
normal.
it's so valuable that regurgitation stops. It
So
stops.
it's asking for a lot of oversight and the documentation to back up all the oversight.
And knowing how to properly put it out there, word it correctly by educating yourself, Because if you just ask for accounting, guess what? When they send you your statements, that's accounts receivable. They actually performed. But if you ask for full accounting and you specify accounts receivable and accounts payable, you're never going to get the accounts payable. Why? Because it's going to show that it was zeroed out. So now what do you have? Non-performance. I don't need arbitration. I don't need to take you to court, because now I'm going to do a total forensic loan audit to show that you're gaining money on the payable side. Now I'm going to do a FOIA request for accounting myself, because you have to give it to them. So I'm going to pull the accounts myself to show that it's zeroed out. Then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to show and I'm going to see that you're not even registered to do business, and you surpass the tax threshold to do business in the actual state in which I live in, I occupy. So now we're talking civil and criminal charges. I hand you all that documentation, you write me a check because you want to settle.
Honey,
You're going about it the wrong way.
you were cutting out for me. Can you go back just a little bit, please?
Which part would you like me to go back to?
It was like the total forensic loan audit.
Once you have a total forensic loan audit, it's going to give you the accounting audit. It's going to give you the actual physical, agreement, right? Then you're going to have the car contract. Now, when you got the car with the dealership, that was a contract, okay? But what you got with the financial institution, because you got two, right? You got a contract and you got a loan agreement. That one, you're going to get both. You're going to get that back. You're going to get the QSUP audit back. You're going to get the securitization audit back. When you got all of that back, and now I'm going to turn around and I'm going to look at and see if you're registered to do business in my state. And now that you're not, and I go ahead and know that you passed the tax threshold and you're supposed to be registered in this state if you want to do business in this state. Because if you are getting more than $60,000 a year in a state, you pass the IRS tax threshold. Now we're not just talking about tax evasion or civil charges. We got criminal charges added on to there. We got federal criminal charges added on, such as tax evasion. All you're going to do is cut me a check. You're going to release my lien and you're going to cut me a check. We're not going to go to court. We're not going to deal with arbitration. I don't waste time. Time management versus time wasted.
So you corner them, and then they go, "Oh, it's all lawful," and they're just going, "Okay, zeroed out," because they're making your straw man, you accountable for a straw man. They want you to pay that back.
No,
And,
you made yourself accountable.
right,
They're not.
I made myself accountable.
You signed it as a surety. When you sign as a surety or an agent, you took on the actual liabilities to do so. You have not signed as beneficiary. You have not informed them that per being the grantor and no longer going into an applied trust, that you're going to express the fact that all beneficiaries prior listed shall be removed and you are the only sole beneficial heir to this actual trust agreement. You haven't done that. You haven't given the actual indenture trustee a Form 56 to act on your behalf instead of the bank's behalf. You haven't done those things when you're dealing with an actual a car loan. You haven't, after that factor, you haven't put in your H8A dealing with everything else. You haven't shown and proven that there's been non-performance.
Right.
Non-performance means void.
Right. They didn't perform on the agreement, and so that's
No,
awesome.
they're performing, except for when you start asking questions and they don't give it to you. That's where your non-performance comes in.
Oh, because when you ask them for, because when you're asking them for the total forensic, you know,
When you're asking them for a total accounting ledger, both
total accounting
payable
ledger,
and receivable.
the receivable part is the part they can't.
The receivable is what they give you every month when you get a statement.
Right. Okay. Then the other one was the one that's already zeroed out.
Now you got it.
Wow. And so they're like, oh, and it's zeroed out. Explain to us why it's zeroed out.
You want me to explain it to you? You want them to explain it?
I want you to, because you're a magnificent woman, and obviously you've been through process, and you have an attorney background, and
No, I'm not an attorney.
Well,
I'm not barred.
Pardon, you have a legal law, if you will, background that's helpful. So Now, why is it zeroed out, and why shouldn't I take responsibility as assurer of that agreement?
You have responsibility no matter what until you can prove what you can prove, because you signed as surety. Every trustee has a surety bond for the assets that is in the physical trust. Therefore, you became the surety bond to pay for the assets that are in the physical trust. You see? So you still have a duty until you can prove otherwise. By fact of what? Non-performance. So why would it show that it's zeroed out? Is because what do they take with that promissory note? They put a what? An allonge on the back of it. They now going to send that to the United States Treasury through the IRS Fedwire. When they go through Fedwire, they wait 45 days and they get cut a check. And when they get cut a check, it zeroes out the account. Because what happened was you had a contract with the dealership. There was a meeting of the minds. You came in here to purchase something. The dealer said, I got what you need, right? You picked out your vehicle. They made an offer for a price. You accepted the offer. You gave them over that contract. And guess what? They gave you keys. That was the end of that. But they needed for that promissory note to be paid. Who's listed as trustees based on the Banking Act, right? The Emergency Banking Act. All banks are. So they needed the bank's assistance to cash it. So instead of the bank saying, okay, I'm just going to give you the funds, the bank said, no, because you don't know who you are. You're incompetent. You're in minor state. You're going to go ahead and pay me back because you're already a what? A prisoner of the state. You're already slave to the state. So you're going to do what? You're going to pay me back. You sign and say, okay, no problem. And I'm also going to give you authorization to make you yourself, the bank, the financial institution, the beneficiary, and your trusted company is going to be the trustee to act on your behalf. I'm going to give you permission because everything I say in that agreement says I authorize. I authorize you to do these things. I authorize you to act on my behalf. I authorize you, if I don't make the payment, to take my interest, my security interest, which would be the actual physical collateral. I authorize all of these things. You see?
Yeah.
I authorize.
I
You
authorized.
You did it. So the word of they didn't do anything to you. You do it because you don't read.
Because you
You do
don't
it
know
because you don't
words.
understand trust. You don't know what the difference of implied versus, which is assumption, versus express, which is intent.
It's a vocabulary problem. Knowing and the meaning of different words and things.
Well, at the same time,
All legalese.
Legalese.
exclusion
All legalese.
Mm-hmm.
exclusion is a lie in itself, though.
Yeah.
So like we
So
can't
you,
we
let
can't
me see,
gloss over
Luna,
the
you said,
fact that we've all went to school. We've all thought we've been educated. We all got college degrees. We can't gloss over that fact that we've been duped. We've been bamboozled. We
but
cannot.
again, that's an emotional state of mind. I'm going to tell you right
It
now,
is. It is.
duping and bamboozled. Let me ask you a question. You got a vehicle before, right?
Yes.
Did you read every word of that vehicle?
No.
Why?
I wasn't taught to.
You got to be taught to read over the entire thing
Yeah.
that you're signing, that you're putting your signature on.
Yes. Yes.
Make that make sense for yourself real quick.
Yes. And
Someone needs to teach you
it doesn't have to
that.
come from government. It should come from our peers. If it comes from our loved
But
ones, or come
so
from
you
our
know what that's
parents.
called? That's called self-entitlement and laziness. See, with love, I'm going to give it to you real. That's called self-entitlement and laziness.
And I
Because
agree. I
at
agree.
the end of the day, as an adult, you are now the one who makes the choices. Whether you like the choices or not, you always have a choice.
All I'm
You
saying is,
chose, right? It's called accountability, responsibility, and ownership.
all I'm saying
You
is,
physically
this is
chose. Everyone, I've been there too. You're not by yourself, okay?
well, honey,
All of us have gotten to a place and point where
my love.
we physically chose to not read. Why? We're just like, oh, we're getting a car. Okay, we're just sign here. This is what it means.
My love. Can I interject, please?
Of course.
I'm saying that I get all of that, right? Because all the accountability is on you. You cannot say, I didn't, this person did something to me when you ain't do nothing for yourself, right? At the same time, this is generational on how we have been deprogrammed into just saying, I need this from you, please give it to me. I don't
Deprogrammed,
care.
yeah, unconditioned, deconditioned
Right. And we
to
can't gloss over that. We cannot gloss over that. So we have to deprogram the deprogramming that we've been through. And this is all I'm trying to get down in these lives is that people, we have to unlearn what we have learned and relearn what we need to learn.
Now, I
Learn,
100%
get better, and be
agree.
better.
However, keep in mind that a part of being able and capable of unlearning to relearn is to stand up and take accountability for your own flaws and mistakes.
gird up your loins.
That's it.
So starting with with trading with the enemies act of 1939 will lead you thus through a rabbit hole of eye-opening, jaw-dropping, a hyperventilation that will most likely, if you stay calm enough, take you to the different acts, treaties, and addresses that will make you not a ward or enemy or
So like
a prisoner of the state,
I like to think
right?
of it like this point, right? So we all we say like honey, you always say, right? The and Pooh, y'all always say that the war never ended. We are at war, right? We are at war. So what's the first thing they gonna do with the people who they're at war with, who they're trading with the enemy and the war power? They're gonna dumb us
Papers,
down.
please. Papers, please.
They're gonna
Yeah,
dumb
that's
us
what they're going to do. They
down.
want to papers.
Papers,
No,
please.
but here's the thing. It's
And
not
it's
about that. See,
generational.
I know. See, that's what you have to get past.
Get your
Okay.
emotion.
It's not
It,
about them dumbing you down
well, it's not
because
okay. I'm sorry.
it has nothing to do with being dumbed down, right? It has everything to do with the fact that, okay, you may not have once known, but now you do,
True.
right? But it was always public information. It was
Yeah, I know.
always public information.
It's
So
just kind
it
of like the
can't,
way they hide. It's kind of like the way they hide Bibles.
In all fairness, they did
They're
teach us how to read.
available. They're just on the very bottom shelf, and they're hard to get down and grab them. But they're all very much available
So
because
what
they
did
have
Sonny
to
just
be.
say? Sonny just said at least they teach. They
I
did
said, in
teach
all
us how.
fairness, at least they did teach us how to read.
They did teach us how to read, right? So
Yeah,
like now they flipped it, and this is like the sleight of hand that the magicians and magistrates have. Now they flipped it to where everybody could read. We didn't say you can't read anymore.
they're just not
But
comprehending
nobody
what
wants
they're
to read.
reading.
Nobody wants to read. They're shoveling Hollywood down your throat. You rather read the cliff notes. You know what I mean?
It's
but
yeah,
are they? But see, you
yeah.
see what you keep saying? They are. What gun was to your head? What duress were you under to turn on the TV? What duress were you
Nobody.
under
No,
to
but
sign the contract?
nobody
What
but
or on
society.
trust agreements? What
Nobody but
duress were
society.
you under to do
I,
anything that you do? It's a choice.
I can answer that question, and I'm not hiding behind it. I'm just saying though, this is what we all have fell victim to. Do you remember when In Living Color came out, right? And on that night, and everybody was laughing at it, and you couldn't wait to go back to school to talk about it? This is society that we live in. And we are all shaped and molded by society. And we're not thinking about reading books because we want to see In Living Color next week.
There's going to come a time when here in the very near future when truths are going to be very difficult to find. When TikTok goes dark, right, and there isn't this sense of community. That's why I can appreciate where Honey Drop's going, where it's like, guys, we have to start putting the hammer down now on the gas pedal, and getting a good start with the Trading with the Enemies Act of 1939, and going, okay, just have to find time for that because we're at, like you're saying here, Mr. Difficult, we're at a precipice. We're at change in our world and our lives that really demand attention, the likes of which we never thought we'd experience. Where, we're in a military footing now, because we're dealing with different acts now that apparently we're enemies of the state, quote unquote, and wards. And so we have to go, okay, so from a military standpoint, now we have to gird up our loins and look at this like soldiers, essentially, and go, okay, well, how do I, not be an enemy of the state anymore? How to correct my status? And it all starts, like what she's saying, with going down. And I think you made a remarkable point when you said, if it's on the shelf, it's probably a plant. It's probably wrong if it made it that far, because these publishing companies won't dare publish unless it's self-published, and even in that case, you won't find it in a library, or Amazon or anything like this. And so, if it works, then they wouldn't want you to know how to get out of it necessarily. So they would make it a little bit more difficult to find. It is a full blown, uh, you know, uh, uh, misinformation campaign towards the folks who want to discover and become, living man or woman, and a different disinformation campaign. Like, because we're seeing all of these people talking about it on YouTube or on TikTok and these stuff, and it's really great. But there's so many different angles and things, and it's like none of this can begin until we know that how, the who, what, where, when, why, and how we got in this position to start with, and that's just being a good student of history. And that's all I think that anyone can ask is, be a student and like enjoy history, because you might have to, because if you're going to be reading these acts and treaties and addresses, and you have to really be a student and enjoy this kind of stuff to some degree, because this is really an
Enjoy
investigation.
my ass.
Yeah, well, it really is an investigation.
It's
It's going
enjoying
to
the
bring
learning of it and
emotions.
gaining power, and not enjoying the actual doing of it.
Yeah,
And
well,
here's
yeah.
Once
here's the
again,
thing.
y'all taking it personal.
Here's the thing that I want to interject real quick. What it goes down to is learning how to correct your own personal thinking. The moment you stop pointing fingers outside of you, right? I say this all the time, so I'm gonna give you guys a different analogy. That's like people who always want to blame a proverbial devil, right? They'll be like, oh, the devil's trying to attack my finances. No, you got bad money management. Oh, I found out that, I need to lose weight and I got this health issue, and, the devil trying to attack my body. No, you got bad eating habits. Okay. Here's where it comes from. It comes to stop trying to point fingers outside of you, take accountability and responsibility, and say, I did. This is my issue. This is where I dropped the ball. This is what I didn't do. Okay. That's where it
Absolutely.
comes back into you taking your power back. Because as anybody who's ever attended my lives, I always tell you there's three positions. You either a slave, a boss in training, or a boss. Okay. A slave is the one that's looking for direction from somebody else. The first question that come out their mouth is, how do I do something? You're constantly wanting to give your power away. And the moment that you keep saying what they did to you are still in the position of giving your power away.
Ooh,
A boss does not give their power away. A boss takes accountability and responsibility and ownership for everything that they do. Even
honey,
if someone turns around and screws them over. You want to know what a boss turns around and says? I allowed that to happen. I allowed that. The reason why is because a boss is never going to give their power away. Never. It's a slave that wants to say, no, boss, I didn't do it. That person did it. Or they didn't show me how to do it. Or this. You got to remove the slave mentality. Remove the dangling carrots of a proverbial devil and know that the only devil that exists is the one inside of you. That's it. the one that will pull itself. You are the only adversary to yourself. You are the only one standing in your way. If the knowledge is being given to you, or the steps of how to access the knowledge, and then on top of that, an educator is here bridging the gap between you and the knowledge, what's the excuse now? What becomes the excuse now? Excuses only excuse you from your own greatness. That's it. You can make up any excuse you want, but one day you're going to wake up and realize I am enslaved because I allow my lack of ability to have accountability to take control, which it's now enslaved me. Okay? You have to come out of her. Out of her is the way of thinking as a slave. Regain what was given to you. Are you not a god? Are you not goddesses and gods? Do you not know who you are? Every time you turn around and you're like, they did. No, you did. You didn't read the contract. You didn't read the agreement. You didn't read the acts, the treaties, and addresses. You didn't know that you were an enemy of the state. You sign a driver's license in agreement to say that you're not going to drive more than 50 miles per hour, and you want to drive 75 and then fight for a ticket. Make it make sense. You agreed to it. Now you want to fight it? How does that make sense to you?
Well, it all starts with a realization, and after that, learning and
Right.
information gathering. It's an investigation, an interesting one at that, because who'd have thought you'd have to 007 your way on out of this rabbit hole that because of a lack of information and
But who gave us
It's
the
not
lack
a
of
lack of
information? Do you know?
information. It's always
Who
been
gave us
there.
the lack of information? Do you know?
well, it's always been there, but you just don't know it's there until you
Mm-mm.
know it's there.
No.
Who dropped the ball? Who was the ones that gave us the lack of information?
Well,
Our parents.
I hate to put it on our parents like that, but
It was
It
our
is.
ancestors.
our ancestors,
When the
but
prayer of relief was given, they knew exactly what they were trading over to gain the prayer of relief that they were asking for. They knew what they were getting. They knew. They didn't pass it along. So by the knowledge dropping, the buck dropping, guess what happened? We became what? Byproducts of it, right? You ever heard that saying that the child will pay for the sins of the father?
yeah.
You are a living proof and testimony of such. So how do you change it? Stop regurgitating.
Who
Stop
did
just
who?
listening to people.
So when did uh, uh, this section where the plaintiff outlines the specific remedies or reliefs they're seeking from the court due to the harm caused by the defendant, this prayer of relief, when did that originate?
Rephrase your question so I can answer it thoroughly for you.
Okay, well, when did the prayer of relief originate? That tells the court what the plaintiff desires as a resolution to the dispute and sets the stage for the court's decision making.
Prayer relief started in the 1600s. That
So,
started under the crown. That's under British authority.
okay, so is that where the problem lies? Somewhere in
No,
there?
no.
No. Okay.
The prayer relief that we're speaking on is what brought us to the state from going from republic to property.
And okay, so and that became and that was when was that?
1933 bankruptcy.
The 1933 bankruptcy, the gold and stuff like that situation. Okay. So that's when everyone was panicking in a panic and needed help, and the Federal Reserve Act of 1933, right,
Mm-hmm.
stepped in and saved the world, if you will. Well, that's when everything got, quote, if you will, hijacked, for lack of better terms. And
That's not when it
everything,
got hijacked, because here's the thing. The system is actually freaking ingenious if you know how to
Right.
become the beneficiary. The system is ingenious. Our ancestors were beneficiaries. We just weren't taught how to become it as well. So now you have to learn it now. How can you stop the ignorance and make sure that you are doing true wealth transfer? Everyone wants to scream, I'm the generational curse breaker. What book have you opened up to read? That's non-fictional.
Well, I think we better start opening up the different acts, treaties, and addresses.
There you go.
I think that would be a great start. But you know where they start us off at? Christmas parties and Santa Claus and Easter bunnies and shenanigans, and drive us into madness with chasing the dollar bill and these notes, and trading around bankruptcy to bankruptcy, these IOUs, and just being cattle. And
And you got to get over the fact that you've been deceived your whole life. You got to get
well,
over that really quick. You got to get over that really quick.
right.
But
And
again, it's not about being
They're
deceived.
yeah, I
it's all
just,
about what they doing. They ain't did
I got to
nothing to
speak for the
you.
people. I still got to I got to speak for the people because I know a lot of people feeling this way, and this
But
is the
that's the
first
point
thing,
we're trying
But
to tell you.
that's what you're
right?
telling
And
you.
this is the first thing you got to get over.
But the first part about getting over it is to take out the slave mentality. No one did anything to you.
they just changed the procedures.
Stop having a victim
They
mindset.
didn't do anything.
They just
They're
changed the procedures on
It's
us,
a game. It's a
and
game.
it's
You have to learn how to
procedural. It's
play the
all
game.
procedural,
I'm going to
right?
tell you just how much they tried to teach our ancestors. 1935, they brought out the game of Monopoly. The game of Monopoly was brought out so it can be in every home, so every home would know how the new system was going to work. The old original actual instructions of the game of Monopoly even included a trustee
Mm,
that was supposed to sit behind or sit next to the banker.
mm.
You see?
That's interesting.
So when you keep thinking and pointing the finger outside of you, it's still you. You
Wait.
chose not to open up a book. And when I say you, I'm
No, but
generalizing.
like,
I'm from New York,
let's.
right?
But like,
Hmm.
honey, let's take the Monopoly example. They took out the trustee. They took out pertinent information. They're
Why?
withholding information
Why did
Once
they take it
again,
out?
because they can't tell you everything as an enemy.
because we the enemy.
It's war powers. That's what she's saying. The history, the War Powers Act, the Trading with the Enemy Act, the Emergency Banking Relief Act. Those are what created the 1,000,000,000 statues that we have right now. That's what she's explaining to y'all.
Exactly. No, but I'm on that though. But I'm like, why did they
But you
take
keep
it out?
taking it personal.
No, but
See, this is the
no, no,
problem.
no, no, no,
This
no,
is
no, 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 no,
this
no,
is
no,
the
no,
problem. Real
no. I'm
quick, this
not
is the
taking it.
problem.
Impu, bro. I'm not taking it personal. I'm trying to get to the crux because I'm tired of fussing about it too. But let's get to the
But
crux.
well,
We are under war.
this whole
Hold on,
correcting our
wait.
status
Hold
The
on.
thing.
crux is when you look yourself in the mirror.
Excuse me, please. We are at war. And why would they not withhold information from us when we are at war?
From
Why
enemies,
would they
right?
not withhold?
The
Why
secret
they
of
wouldn't?
war.
Because you're an enemy.
The
This is what
secrets
I'm
of
You are an
war. Go
enemy.
read that.
Why would you give?
Right.
Why would
this is
you
what I'm
give?
saying. We are at war, are we not? We're at war. So they are purposely doing these things to us because we do not know we are at
They
war.
they've designated individuals as enemies for emphasizing they've emphasized discretion. Let's just say that at least, and they've decided to withhold pertinent information because we've not,
What is the
quote,
most pertinent information?
well,
We
Okay, so
are
I'm
still
gonna tell
at
you.
war.
we
I'm gonna
haven't
tell you
We
corrected
are
something
our
real quick.
still at
statuses.
war. That is the most pertinent information.
Right.
I'm gonna show you something real quick, right? I'm gonna show you something, and this is gonna be mind blowing for most people in this live right now. In the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth grade, you took social studies, correct?
Nope.
Right.
Everybody took social studies.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Tell me, what were the 5 acts that they had you read in social studies?
No idea.
None.
Man, I wish I would know, but I don't know.
I'm going to show you just how much they didn't keep it from you. They gave you acts, right? If you pull up, and you can go back and you can look back in the year that you were in fourth, fifth, and third, fourth, fifth, and sixth grade, right? Third, fourth, fifth, and sixth grade. And you are going to see that a part of the Department of Education's curriculum dealt with 4 primary acts that was in your social studies class. You started them in third grade and you continued them every year until sixth grade. And some of it actually had to have reports done on them that was supposed to be parental assistance. Go look it up. Right?
Right.
So again, we say these things because you know where our minds were at that time, the same where they are right now. Because
Recess.
why? Minor status and incompetent. Right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the status they have you in as an enemy of the state. Minor status and incompetent. We're
Crazy.
literally
You live in
saying
a
right
ward.
here, right now, read the Trading with the Enemy Act. Somebody pull it up. Just somebody pull it up real quick. That's on the panel, right? Pull up
Yep.
1939. Pull it up. You got a 15-page one and an 18-page one. And I want you to read it out loud. Someone who can read out loud well. Pull it up. Read it out loud and tell me, what does it say enemy definition is? You see, you can be on lives all day long. You can keep talking to you blue in the face, but you are the change that you seek. And so if you spend more time on lives than you do actually pulling these documents up and reading them and having your law dictionaries to understand everything that you're reading, preferably too, having your highlighters, your pens, and your notepad, what good is it doing to you just to complain? At that point, you are complaining for no apparent reason because you are making a conscious decision to not do anything else about
The
it.
definition of enemy under the Trading with Enemies Act of 1939 is quite comprehensive. So it's any state or sovereign of the state that is at war with His Majesty. Number 2, an individual residing in enemy territory. Number 3, any body of persons, whether corporate or unincorporate, conducting business in any place, if and as long as the body is controlled by a person who is considered an enemy under this section. And number 4, any body of persons constituted or incorporated in or under the laws of a state that is at war with His Majesty. And number 5, with respect to any business and conducted in enemy territory, with respect to any business conducted in enemy territory, any individual or body of persons, whether corporate or unincorporate, engaging in that business. So furthermore, the act specifies that being an enemy subject, quote unquote, does not automatically categorize an individual as an enemy for the purposes of the act. The Board of Trade holds the authority to designate any person as an enemy of the act's purposes through an official order. So the Board of Trade holds the authority to designate any person as an enemy person. The word there is person, though, but as an enemy for the act's purposes through the official order. And that comes from legislative.gov.uk.
And you got some more to that, but you don't print the whole thing out. It gave you a portion, just a portion.
I have the whole thing here.
Huh?
I have the whole thing here in front of me. So any person who trades or attempts to trade with an enemy within the meaning of this act shall be guilty of an offense of trading with an enemy and shall be liable. So,
Who wrote?
uh, so
Who
here are
wrote?
the definitions of an enemy. Subject to the definition of enemy is subject to the provisions of this section. The expression enemy for the purposes of this act means any state or sovereign of a state at war with his majesty, any individual resident in enemy territory, any body of persons, whether corporate or unincorporate, carrying on business in any place, and if and in so long as the body is controlled by a person who, under this section, is an enemy, F6. Any body of persons constitutes or incorporated in or under the law of a state at war with his majesty. So any body of persons constituted or incorporated in or under the laws of a state that at war with his majesty, and any respects any business carried on in enemy territory, or any individual or body of persons, whether corporate or unincorporated, carrying on that business, does not include any individuals by reason only that he is an enemy subject. The Board of Trade may
Stop.
be,
Pause for 1 second. Read that little part again. Does not include what?
but does not include any individual by reason only that he is an enemy subject.
Oh, there you go. Now, look it up. You see? Now, if you take your law dictionary and you look it up, you're going to see exactly what that means. That means the living man or woman. Somebody put in the comments, and I'm going to let you come back to it in a second. Someone put in the comments, I thought we declared our independence. You might want to read about the American Revolution. You might also want to read the Paris Treaty Act. Why? All acts have expiration date. I'm sorry, all treaties have expiration dates. You see? All treaties, look at the bottom, have expiration dates. You see? Those acts, those treaties, those addresses are going to tell you every single thing you need to know. So instead of continuing to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, open those acts, those treaties, and those addresses up. They are an extensive read. You're going to need to read them for a multitude of times, because every time you read them, you're going to get something extra that you did not comprehend well before. So again, for those of you who are asking, didn't we declare our independence, right? You're using the word I thought. You know why? Because you need to read about the American Revolution. You need to read about the Paris Treaty Act. Right? Who was the one, who were we going up against? The crown. What did we need? We needed funding. We couldn't fund it. So what did we do? We got funding from the crown from a war that was going towards the crown. Learn your history, guys. If you learn that history, then you can stand on business. History is the most important factor, because when they have conquered, which is what they did, when another place conquers another place, what happens? They become subjects too. And because they are still holding their flags, they are still at war. They're still at war as to why you are an enemy of the state. They're still holding up their war flags. The war is not over. Every treaty that's there has an expiration date. This isn't my words. I'm just an educator. I bridge the gap between you and the knowledge. The words are right there for you if you begin to look it up. Read it for yourself. It's right there. You wondering why you still in court? Because you are a slave.
So correct me if I'm wrong. The Trading with the Enemies Act of 1939 doesn't explicitly detail how an individual or entity can avoid being classified as an enemy. However, the act does provide a mechanism for the Treasury or the Board of Trade, which it mentions inside the act, a group called the Board of Trade, to exempt certain transactions or persons from the restrictions imposed, effectively allowing them to not be treated as, quote, enemies for specific purposes.
It tells
So,
you when it says what you just read does not include individuals subject to. What does that mean? You got to look it up in your law dictionaries. What does an individual subject to mean? It means natural person. When you look it up in a law dictionary, it means natural person. What does a natural person mean? Living man or woman. So how do you become such? You have to do it as to whom created you as a United States citizen. There's no other way to correct your status but to the party that was incorporated within the trust that created you as a United States citizen. That is going to be with the state and the Department of State.
right.
The state and the Department of State. They created that trust agreement with the informant as the grantor. That is why you can correct it, because you are the successor grantor. This is why you have to understand the foundation of trust.
Okay, and so by doing that, that will correct our status of being in trading with the Enemy Act of 1939.
Now you got it.
Right on. Okay, so the route is going through the State Department and through the Secretary of State and there's
And
different.
as you begin to read it more, and it's not the Secretary of State, it's going to be with the county clerk's office in the
Right.
state in county which you domicile in by way of a name
Yeah.
decree. It's going to be with the Department of State by way of a non-U.S. citizen national passport. Now, when you read that further, it's going to also tell you that when you are no longer an enemy of the state in your minor state, that all things in your minor state has been forgiven. It's telling you. So if you're dealing with child support, if you're dealing with court cases, if you're dealing with those issues, the way out of them is to do what? Stop being an enemy of the state.
A minor
There you go.
award.
Why would we keep talking about, and this is where I get frustrated in my head, right? I love you guys, but I get frustrated and I get a headache, because why would you keep talking about what's going on in a slave trade court when you have the actual cheat code to not have to step foot in there again past the point of doing a name decree?
And dealing with everything outside of court.
There you go. Because after you correct your status, that slave trade court has no jurisdiction over you. None. All of your things have been forgiven. So why would you sit there and put stress on your mental and rent space in your brain about something that doesn't have to be of you anymore once you know who you are?
Yeah, and the difference therein. You know, the all caps name, the entity, and the living man. This
It's
is
a
all
legal
so
separation.
this is
It's
so wild.
what it's called. It's a legal separation. A legal separation. That's all you're doing. You are legally separating yourself from the enslegis, from the creature of law that was created as a United States citizen, making you the legal person, rather than a natural person.
Honey, can I be difficult?
No, but yes.
No.
Let me get difficult, right? Because as we're going through all of this stuff, all I'm hearing, what sounds like to me, is just more statutes upon statutes, Roman law after Roman law, and it didn't come from the Most High. It's coming from some dude that wrote something down on a piece of paper, and why should I follow any of it?
But that's the thing. You follow, it's called propaganda. Get out the damn system. Then you do what the hell you want.
Mm-hmm.
Get out the system.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? That's the choice you have. But what do you want to complain for? Let me tell you, somebody said something to me a few weeks ago, right? I'm going to give you guys a different analogy. Okay? Someone was complaining about a job they were working at. Now, 3 days before they were complaining, they had come to a solution. I assisted them with another solution. So they had more than one solution, but they have not taken any action. And then they called me 3 days later to complain about the same problem. At that point, you want to know what my response was? I don't want to hear it. You know why? Because you were provided solution and you chose not to take action. Now, I don't care if you take my solution or not, but stop fucking complaining.
Yep.
What is the purpose? What does it do for you? But raise your blood pressure, make you sick and ill. At the end of the day, time management versus time wasted.
Happened on my
I
live
just
the other
sat here
night.
for an hour and gave you everybody here a solution. So if you're still talking about court cases later on, and I just told you Retrading with the Enemy Act, and it's literally going to tell you that all things done in the minor state is forgiven. And Pooh, how did you get out of jail?
Just let them know who I was. Beneficial ownership. I let, status, standing, in position. I got my name decree. Like I said, I used my birth certificate to pay for my name decree in prison. So when these individuals be talking about authentication and name decree, they just unaware and don't have the knowledge, don't have the first-hand knowledge of how these instruments work for you and not against you. Now, like I say, minus the what is it you say? The passport gets you all the way out, but it's just even having that name decree. It's a decree. You look up the definition of decree in the dictionary, in your Black's, Bouvier's, it's going to say an assignment. So you gave the judge the assignment. You became the principal, and the judge became the student, and gave you the assignment. People are like, oh well, you went to court to get your decree. I sure did, because I had to show up and I had to be the master and tell the servant how I wanted it done. How you want your steak? I want it well done. And so I gave them orders. I gave them other orders on top of changing my name to the proper grammar. I told them to unblock the accounts, the proper correction of all records, including the infant deceased in the state that was improperly created. I put special private priority on my documentation. I put nativity instead of birth. And when it said person, I put living man down there. So the judge that I had, she already knew what time it was when it came to me. She was trying to let me out. Well, that's why I tell y'all all the time, it's about mindset. My mindset wasn't there. I was in shackles. I have my hand shackled, my leg shackled, and my brain shackled. And that's a hell of a combination, because with the hands and legs shackled, my brain was automatically shackled. Even though I put down what I put down, my mind was not there. And that's why I tell everyone all the time, when me, Honey, is speaking, we're coming from love, we're coming from real experience. We really do this shit. And then, like, these individuals be coming up here telling you do X, Y, and Z. And then when I check them on, they're like, oh, well, yeah, you really should start with the power of attorney, because these individuals want to go out here and do X, Y, and Z. And I tell them, look, slow down. You only just found out about this information. You're at the very surface level. This shit is deeper than Atlantis. We're just giving you, like I said, just what's that called? The prerequisites of what you're gonna need out here in the commercial world if you're gonna play the game. But if you're not gonna play the game, don't sit there and fucking complain about anything. Because once again, we up here telling you what, advising you, hey, this is what you should have in play. This is what you should be. You have your office set up, standing in position. Like I said, she gave you the game. She told you exactly where to go look. The thing about it, when you go look up and you read in these acts, you better have a law dictionary with you, because it's legalese and you won't understand it. You won't understand it. You won't understand it, definitely, because you're thinking that what she just say, the individual, you're gonna look at that and you're gonna put your own interpretation. That's the thing when I say this is business. When you reading this shit, when you read the Bible, law dictionary. Why? Because the Bible is the law of the land. So they're putting this. It's a coded language in the matrix, and you have to know the code, and that's it.
Yeah, the legalese.
Well, she gave y'all that. She gave y'all what y'all needed, what y'all really want. If y'all really want to be free, shit, she didn't charge you $1 for that. Now, like I said, if you gonna go, yeah, you're gonna want the one to one.
Why would anyone want to charge for that anyway?
This is what I'm saying because you see, this is what you fail to realize. 20 years, okay, 20 years, okay. She just gave you. She just leap jumped you in the game. You're 2 years. You're 2 years now. You ain't got to go look in these 10 years of rabbit holes. She told
Right.
you. She told you to go to the 18th hole. She
Yeah.
microwave shit. But this is the thing. Individuals do it, and they don't know what they're doing. That's a problem. You see what I'm saying? This is accountability. This is sovereignty, autonomy. That
It
means you have to
sounds.
self-govern yourself,
It
and
sounds to
individuals
me.
don't want to do that.
It sounds to me like you guys have been through a couple of wild ones that have come through a few times, but this is my first time here, and it's really awesome. I think I came at just the right time because I've finally been able to wrap my mind around the whole correcting my status because I'm an enemy of the state, and so now that's kind of like opening my mind and going, oh, I see why this would be appropriate because we're in a wartime footing, and they're imposing penalties on being an enemy of the state or and trading with the enemy and all this other stuff. And so there's a really interesting, functioning, applicable a purpose to all of this, and it's so well connected, and it all matters. And so language is power, knowledge is power, and I think that really means uh, this legalese right next to this opportunity that or I should say, having our legal dictionaries next to us and ready to look at stuff, and and I guess there really has to be an underlying love for the game, really, to want freedom from it. Really, there's a love for history and an exceeding love for, I guess, investigating and having this investigative mindset and going through it, and because it's real, it's the only thing that really matters, the truth. And who's an enemy? Who wants to be an enemy? I mean, the fact is, you know, when they designated this and made designed this trading with the enemies act, uh, it the subjects that were all in all of us weren't privy to this kind of thing necessarily, or because that would be exposing too much to us. And you know so by and she has just absolutely giving me all of us a real push forward, because now I understand that being an enemy, that's why we are, if you will, being treated this way, and underwater like this, and playing, you know, and this kind of thing happening. And so we're enemies. We have to correct our enemy statuses. And I have a question. You said when you said the passport situation was the final step for you or whatever. What did that mean, being the nail in the coffin kind of thing? What does that mean?
With the passport,
Yeah.
the Department of State. That's where everything is. That's where everything is at. And that's where they started at. The Department of State and created all the United States.
So you're trading in your
It's all
identification.
business. It's all business. So like she's saying, that's where the status lies at. That's where you're getting your passport at. That's where you're getting the authentication of the birth certificate at. It's the Department of State.
This is that's brilliant. That is brilliant.
The
Yeah, I really look
Department of
forward to
State,
absolutely
Go ahead, honey.
consuming this to
the Department
every
of
level.
State finalizes your actual status correction. So when it's done on a state level, it's just like an authenticated birth certificate. It cannot be done solely on a state level because it has to go through all parties of the actual trust agreement that was created, which actually created your political status. Okay?
Right.
So we go back to the prayer relief understanding. When they were down and out, filed bankruptcy, time to pay, they said, all we have silver gold land. They said, okay, we'll take the silver gold land, right? So no, they didn't snatch the silver gold land. They were in bankruptcy. Why? Because all of that time they were fighting a civil war of power, right? One part of the country didn't want, the blues didn't want there to be slavery, and reds did. Okay, we see it on the screen every day to know that we're still in war. Why? Election time comes, we still have red and blue states, right? Everything is still red and blue. It's a cross of the two. Why do you think the flag has the red and blue? Okay, and the war around it, because we are still at war, right? So, prayer relief factor that happens is we're suffering, we're dealing with famine, we're dealing with, death, we're dealing with sickness. We need help. We need help. When World War II came about, it made it even worse. They needed help. This is when your republics turned into states, property of the government. Okay, so those of you who are talking about getting foreign 98s, guess what? You're not a foreigner, because how does a corporation own subsidiaries? Those, and you're employees of the subsidiaries, slaves of the subsidiaries, right? Employees. You're not foreign. You see? Very, very important to understand, overstand, and completely get to understand this knowledge, right? So, granted, what became the agreement? Only thing we have left is people. That will do. That will do. From the labor of the people shall pay off the debts of this war. So they created an agreement, which created the birth certificate. Every time a new vessel came to dock, a new vessel was born, the informant would let state know. State would then go to the Social Security Administration to fund the estate. An actual estate cannot be active unless it is funded. So therefore, what happens? Now, once it's funded, the bond certificate can be created, known as your birth certificate. What is a bond certificate? It is an exchange of trade. What does that mean? What is it being exchanged here? The exchange is every birth certificate that the Department of State receives, okay? The state gets what? Funding twice a year. Look up what a bond is actually for. You see? This is where you're going to know this. This is how you're going to gain clarity of this. This is how you're going to understand the history. Understand the history of how actual birth certificates became in circulation. How did it become? Right? This is what it's for. It's for the relief. What relief? May you ask? Human resources. Human resources, social services, welfare, right? Child support, housing, food, medical, childcare, heat.
So this is
All of
the
the
official
opportunities.
moment when human beings started getting traded by way of bond paper, those certificate papers, professionally on the stock market,
The
internationally and
international. International. So when you're walking around talking about securities, what jurisdiction do you have? I got jurisdiction because I'm federally trademarked on a federal level and international level. What jurisdiction do you have to actually go after securities? You don't. It's great to talk, but you don't, right? So the purpose is, when that bond certificate was created, by default, you became a United States citizen. By becoming a United States citizen, state of, okay, United States property of. When you became that, guess what you became? An enemy of the state, not an individual subject to the crown.
a
You
prisoner,
became an enemy of the state. That is who created your what?
straw man.
Your straw man, your ens legis, your creature of law. So anyone telling you to go to the IRS is dicking you around. And I'm going to tell you this why. specifically because of the fact that the IRS is an accounting firm, the largest accounting firm. What CPA do you know that has the ability to change something within your business? None. None. The IRS works as a trustee as well. For what? Accounting purposes, monetary purposes, right? Someone says, let my accountant look over this file to make sure that it's going to be good for me. Why? Because that accountant also has a financial background. They're not going to correct your status because they didn't create your status. If you're in school, you're not going to go to your science teacher who gave you an F. Your gym teacher who didn't give you an F that the science teacher gave you. You're going to go back to the science teacher and say, hey, I don't deserve an F. I deserve an A. I did everything I was supposed to. I had flying colors. Why was I marked down for an F? Then you're going to go to the
You
principal.
go after everyone with their hands inside of your trust, which would be the state of Ohio.
The operative word you keep saying is your trust, right? Nothing is yours because you have not staked claim to anything.
Right.
You
Well,
have no right.
the created thing that they made, they created this
Right.
trust.
They created a trust.
Right.
Right.
And
They
so,
created a trust on the agreement of what your ancestors agreed to, which was their prayer of relief. They wanted relief from
and
the
they
captivity that they were in.
and they are the United States of America Corporation, all caps, and the state of, what have you, all caps, right? Is that what we're talking about? They
The
are the
they
ones who
is
needed to
state
be.
and Department of State. The they that we're speaking of are the
Yes.
parties in a trust. Who are the parties in a trust? You have your grantor, you have your beneficiary, and you have your trustee.
Right. And
Simple.
they are locked in the position as beneficiary.
State is.
State is. And once we
It's
reclaim our
revocable, so
position,
state is in a position of beneficiary and trustee. You see the
because
difference
it's in
between a revocable trust
full
versus an
trust.
irrevocable trust. An irrevocable
Interesting.
trust, you can play all three positions. A revocable trust, you can play all three positions. An irrevocable trust, you can only play a position. You can be the grantor and you can be the beneficiary, but you can't be the trustee.
It's
That's why
funny
you're
because
able to come back around and actually physically correct your status of taking you out of the enemy of the state.
right
Okay.
on.
So as long as you are sitting back, continuing to complain, you're doing nothing. Open up Trading with the Enemy Act. Get in a class with a mentor that can actually assist you in comprehending the history, showing you everywhere to go. Okay. Find a mentor. I don't care if it's me, but I don't care who it is. Find somebody or don't find somebody. Because guess what? 20 years ago, I didn't have any kind of platform. I didn't have a mentor, right? I didn't have any kind of somebody holding my hand. I didn't have a strong search engine the way you guys got it now. I had the law library. That's what I had.
That's
That's all I
amazing.
had. Okay. So
Y'all got
you can
easy.
do it on your own, right? You don't have to have a mentor. But if you want someone to assist you and give you their time to be able to bridge the gap between you and the knowledge for comprehensional purposes, then you get a mentor. All right. But the thing about it is, stop complaining and do something about it. You are the change that you seek. If you are sitting here consistently dealing with court cases or it doesn't matter how bad or how simple, you have a way for it to go away. I tell a story all the time. When I began doing my process, I had a $200,000 tax evasion case with the IRS. My name decree got it dismissed. And then that's when my passport was able to come through. Okay? The kangaroo court, the slave trade court y'all dealing with ain't got shit on the IRS court at all. Because guess what? Federal is innocent until proven guilty, which means that if they find you guilty, which I wasn't guilty, I didn't do anything wrong, but I had a hard time trying to prove it. But if they find you guilty, it's because they built evidence. You out here walking around, living your life as you so please, until they built up enough evidence towards you. Slave trade court